donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tridem, tandem, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, plows, vacs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Saskatoon Blades. Enjoy the kids' fun zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
And it's Crazy Hair Day. Sculpt your wackiest hairdo and you could win prizes like teddy bear toss tickets, a team-signed jersey, and more.
Plus, score Calmont Kids Food Combos for $10 or less.
Oil Kings Blades. Crazy Hair Day, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas
there, he caught him kind of playing that puck. He popped right through him, and then he got into his box bench and was trying to go such a big guy himself, but up by 5 goals.
Under 4 here in the first. Down to feeling saying, why not? Don't even think twice about it.
Quality Pennzoil products. Try your checks, everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring graders, excavators, forklifts, loaders, man lifts, skid steers, plus commercial trailers including 3 unused 2023 Timmins 55-ton tri-axle lowboys. Info at maauctions.com.
Battle one by Yaremchuk up top. Person is shot.
20 years old. He'll never forget it.
Almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at noodle.ca.
The offer there. Was trying to get him to go.
The Jason Gregor Show.
I was trying to get him to go box a big guy himself, but up by 5 goals.
On Sports 1440.
Under 4 here in the first. Down to feeling saying, why not? Don't even think twice about it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Battle one by Yaremchuk up top. Person is shot.
It's Thursday. 20 years old. He'll never forget.
Just after 2 o'clock. I know how you're doing. You're frustrated. You're upset. Maybe you're concerned. Maybe it might be going from frustration to concern regarding the Edmonton Oilers. Good afternoon and welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Very much appreciate it. There is lots to discuss on the show today. The Edmonton Oilers. Now, remember what we said a few weeks ago. And it was not my insight, but it was a great reminder from one of my friends who I had never looked at it that way. And he really opened my eyes up to a saying that many of us in sports use without maybe thinking if it's actually true. So we'll get to that in a second. Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember the Jason Gregor Show daily specials get you some odd boosts if you're interested. And Oiler fans, if misery likes company, this one's for you. It has the Lightning beating the Flames and the Ducks beating the Canucks. So Flames and Canucks lose. There you go. Well, it's actually Canucks lose by 2 goals in that game. So check it out. And then there's also a pretty good scoring leader battle tonight. Celebrini and McKinnon with some points. So check that out at playalberta.ca. Hope you are having a great day. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our email inbox. Something tells me many people will have some thoughts to share today. And I want to go back to my friend who, I'm going to say his name just because it's private anyway. He's a recovering alcohol. And I'm sure there's lots of you out there. And I remember after the 9-1 game, there was a chat, and he just sent me a text, goes, you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, this is rock bottom. Remind them, rarely is rock bottom a one-time thing. And he told me, as a recovering alcoholic, that you know how many times he explained to me how many times he hit rock bottom? He thought it was just when you think it couldn't get worse. Oh, it could get worse. And it wasn't until finally he just said, enough, I'm done. I cannot do it again. And he made a legit change. And he's been over 7 years sober now. So it was awesome. And I remember that because he was like, Oiler fans are going to say, oh, yeah, you know, this is rock bottom. And guess what? That was on the 8th of November. They had lost 8-1. And the game wasn't really close, right? It was 5-0 at one point in the game. And fans were like, what is going on? Well, last night it was 4-0. And it wasn't much prettier. It could have been more. There was a goal called back. Could have been 5-0. And the Edmonton Oilers, they were outclassed, outworked, outsmarted, out anything in that first period. It was brutal. Now, Skinner got a mercy pull. I honestly could have argued to say, you know what, why not keep the goalie in? Why does he get the free pass? The team, now, I get that the team wasn't playing well in front of him, but he wasn't great either. Right? And I know that's, it's going to motivate the team. How about motivate the team by saying we're in this together and everybody's going down? Just, changing the goalie changed nothing, right? Pickard came in, he let in 4 goals at the end of it. Skinner allowed 4 goals. But did you know in the month of November, the expected save percentage, I want to get the number right because I asked Woodley for it today. The expected save percentage in November by the Oilers goalies, Skinner's expected save percentage is .865. So for those who don't understand what expected save percentage means, they're saying average goalie at all the shots they're facing, his save percentage would be .865. And Pickard in that time, .852. They are the worst in the NHL. Both goalies. So it doesn't matter who's playing. They're in a terrible environment. Now, and that's why I've been arguing for a week with people. Everyone's like, oh, they changed it. No, they didn't change their system. They're just not playing well. And if you look at last night, like we could go through last night's game and go goal by goal. And we might just for clarity's sake, because honestly, let's go through it. I know it's like a horror movie and maybe you don't want to relive it. You're like, Gregor, what are you doing? I don't need to relive the garbage last night, but we have to for analysis' sake. Right? You start with the Oilers, the first goal of the game. So it starts in the offensive zone. Mangiapane tries to make a backhand pass. Draisaitl was open on the far side. It would have been a hard pass. I accept that. But it's behind him, He stops, breaks up the play. Now Dallas goes back the other way. Now, there's not a lot happening. Originally, Dallas comes to center. Wyatt Johnston, just a basic dump in. Flips it in behind the net. Right? You got Sam Steele and Bouchard going for it. And then Ekholm comes in. And guess who comes up with the puck? The Dallas Stars. It comes out in front, and boom, Jamie Benn, back of the net. It's 1-0. Goal 400. Oh, no, by the way, I didn't see the Dallas Stars leave the bench. Sorry, Boston Bruins. That was the worst look can recall. Leaving the bench for a 400th goal. Fail. Anyway, so Jamie Benn gets goal 400, 3:48 in. Ouch. Now they go on the power play. That power play goal, you know what? Dallas right now, their power play is really good. Matt Savoy, if you want to get super nitpicky, right? He came across, got a little bit kind of tripped over himself. Skinner came across, made a nice save on Heiskanen, who had slipped down, right? But then he put himself completely out of position for the rebound. So I didn't if you want to make the first save, great. But you can't just make a save and then have no chance to make a subsequent save. And he just kind of fell over. So I didn't like, that's the one goal I didn't like from Skinner. Now we go to goal number 3. Nathan Bastian. Oilers. Trent Frederick has the puck on the right wing, on the right wall. He has it in control. There's no one pressuring him in the offensive zone, just inside the blue line. Now, he's near the end of his shift. It's important to note that, right? So now McDavid comes off the bench. He tries to hit McDavid. The pass isn't even close. The Stars get it. Again, not a dangerous play, but it's a turnover. If you dump it in behind the net, now it's safe. You change, maybe nothing happens. But he doesn't. Dallas gets it. They push it up the wall. Draisaitl actually knocks it down, which slows the puck down. Now it goes in front of the bench. There's a battle between Kulak and the Stars. Kulak loses it. Bastian comes in, walks in. Basically, as a breakaway, comes down the right side. All time in the world, right into the circle. Boom. You give that, and you give most NHL players that much time, they're scoring. So that's another lost battle. That's 2 goals, lost battle. Now you get to goal number 4, and the first period has just been awful. It's a nothing play. The puck's in the defensive zone. Matthias Ekholm at the top of the circle has the puck on his stick, just mishandles it. Then he's like, oh my God, and I got to get rid of it. So he just throws it up into the neutral zone. All right onto the tape of Wyatt Johnston. So now Wyatt Johnston comes down the right side. He's taking his time. McDavid and Ekholm doesn't really go to him, but then Ekholm inexplicably decides, as the low defenseman, he's going to somehow try to slide and knock down a pass that's going back high in the slot. Well, of course, he isn't close to it. He slides out of the play into the corner. Jamie Benn's wide open in the slot. Skinner actually makes the save, gets a piece of it. Like, he's right down Main Street, gets a piece of it, goes off the post right there. There's Sam Steele, pride of our Drawson, says thank you very much. It's 4-0. And you're just like, oh my God. Now, the highlight of the game for Edmonton Oilers. He was their best player. He's a 20-year-old, 5th round, 2 years removed from being a 5th round draft pick. And Connor Clattenburg, not a pretty play, but guess what? He's actually pretty good hands. He's right in front of the net, causes the rebound, takes it backhand, forehand, scores. Great celebration, as it should. It's your first. I don't care that it's 4-0. I love the fact that he celebrates. It's his first NHL goal. You never know if he's going to get another one. I really hope he is, but you never know. That's your dream coming to reality right there. I love that he celebrated. Who gives 2 squirts about the score? It's his first NHL goal, man. It's a big deal. So, it's 4-1, and you're thinking, hey, maybe there's life. But then 10 minutes go by, there's no goals. Then the Stars get a 5-on-3 power play. Now, this is the one goal I don't have any complaints on. It's a 5-on-3, right? Like, what are you expecting? You got the second best power play. They're moving around really nice. And Robertson goes the old Zach Hyman move right up against the post far side, sticks on the ground. It's either going to hit his stick or a skate. It goes in. Not much you can do, right? Like, some people might say, wow, Ekholm it's a 5-on-3. If you're moving in a wound, guess what? Guys are going to leave guys open. It's impossible on a good puck movement to have much defense. So I don't complain about that goal. Now you get to another power play goal, only about a minute and a half later. So maybe stay out of the box. That might be one thing to mention. But Stars move it in, and Wyatt Johnston kind of gets lost by the Oilers penalty killers. He's way up high in the zone. Everybody's looking over, right? They got guys in front of the net. You've got Sagan on the one side, right after Robertson had tried a quick little wrap around. It goes back to the point, Heiskanen. And Wyatt Johnson's just kind of sitting in no man's land. Then he booms in. It's a set play because he hesitates up there. They wait. Everybody's focusing on the right side. He comes back door. Pickard actually makes the initial save. And then Wyatt Johnson, because all the Oilers are at what you would want to call the end of their stick. They're reaching. They're not leaning over the puck. And he taps home the rebound. And it's getting ugly. Now you go to the goal number 7. Now this is the one goal where I look and say, you know what? That's just kind of an unlucky play, right? It's a nothing shot from Bork, the blue line, bounces off his leg in front, and then they score. Sometimes you're going to have a goal where no one really makes a mistake. All right, you know what? It's a 7-2 goal at that time. Like, let's be real, the game was over anyway. And then Bastian, goal number 8. Was one where, again, puck's in the neutral zone. They dump it in, and Leon Draisaitl skating behind the net. There's no one on him. It's Leon freaking Draisaitl. And he just mishandles the puck. Literally just overskates it, mishandles it, bing, bang, boom, into the back of your net. It's really hard to recover from a turnover giveaway behind your net because your teammates are anticipating you to ring that puck around. They are. Everybody is. So guys are spreading out. You can't recover. It's impossible. But that play by Draisaitl illustrates the struggles of the Edmonton Oilers right now. Do you know how many defensive zone giveaways Leon Draisaitl had last year? 22. The year before that, he had 20. The year before that, he had 24. It's pretty good. He has 17 already this year. Remember, the last 3 years, he averaged 22, 20, 24. 3-year average, 22. He's got 17 through 25 games. He's on pace for 51. Like, some of their best guys, like, look at Ekholm on that 4th goal. There's no one around him in the high slot. Like, you're just asking guys to stick handle the puck. Nope. Slides off his stick. He panics. 15, not even 8 seconds later, it's in the back of the net. These are not systemic problems. This isn't like, oh my God, the Oilers, they just can't stop a cycle. No, like, go back through every goal last night. And that's how a lot of their games have been. Unforced errors, bad passing, puck management in the offensive zone, through the neutral zone, into the defensive zone. Fail. So how does it improve? It's a great question. I don't know. The players, you know how it improves? You got to work harder. Like, honestly, you just have to bear down. Like, for Leon Draisaitl to skate behind the net, not even pressured, and just literally overskate the puck. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Matthias Ekholm, like, how many times a game is Matthias Ekholm at the top of the circles in his defensive zone with no one around him, get the puck in his stick, make a good play, and put it out? Like, that's what you expect. And they're fighting the puck. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. So they've got one game in the next 6 days. They were scheduled to practice today. And the coach game today, I think they're mentally exhausted. I think they're physically exhausted. I think emotionally they're exhausted. They're not playing well. They've got no confidence. Like, it is a perfect storm of everything that sucks for them right now. So they say, hey, day off. They will practice tomorrow. And maybe you have an early practice Friday. And then you will fly out to Seattle. Not a far flight. And then you play, you get to bed at a good time. Like, you could leave here at 2:00 in the afternoon. That's only 1:00 Seattle time. Like, you get in there with ample time. So you skate Thursday, Friday, and then you got a game Saturday. You have a day off Sunday, then you practice Monday. So you only play one game in the next 6 days. So this has to be the recharge. But make no mistake, folks. Anyone claiming that this is the bottom and it only goes up, that's what we were saying after the 9-1 game. And I said, not unless they want it. Like, you got to really want it. Think about anybody out there who has, is a recovering alcoholic and a successful one, right? You give up alcohol, you give up drugs, you give up cigarettes, you give up sugar, whatever. Some people, really overweight, and you got to commit. And it is hard. It is a daily battle. Right now, sports isn't that level. I understand it. But they got no confidence. And right now, their emotion, their physical play, their mental play is not at the level it needs to be. So there's no magic tonic. I know everybody's like, oh, trade this guy. You could trade for the goalie. Sure. And I could make an argument that mentally it might help. It might. But again, if you're trading for Jordan Binnington, keep in mind that Jordan Binnington is minus 10.3 goals saved above expected. Minus. That's 74 out of 75 goalies in the league. His expected save percentage, he's minus 3.2%. That's basically 3.2 goals on every 100 shots. Almost like if you average 30 shots a game, which they know. So it's like almost a goal, three-quarters of a goal every game is what he's at right now. That's not good. So if you want to trade for him, no problem. But you're trading for a $6 million question mark, and you're trading away a $2.6 million question mark. I have no problem with that. But the money doesn't work. Right? Doesn't work. Edmonton would have to retain because you can't trade out Skinner and then say, well, now we got to figure out how we're going to get rid of another $3.4 million. Where's that coming from? So you could trade the goalie, and I'd be fine with it if they traded the goalie. I get it. I understand it. But that's not going to solve the defensive. The goalie had nothing to do with Leon Draisaitl mishandling the puck. Ekholm mishandling the puck. Bouchard, Ekholm losing a battle. Kulak losing a battle. Mangiapane, Frederick making awful plays in the offensive zone. Nothing. None of that has to do with the goalie. It doesn't. And they don't have confidence in their goaltender. What? Not having confidence in the goalie has zero to do with your inability to stick handle the puck. So they got a lot of problems right now. There's not one fix. It is going to have to be a collective group effort, and it is not going to be easy. They're going to have to regroup, find some confidence, and move on. And so that's just how it goes, right? There has to be an improvement there. So Mike Rupp will join us. We'll talk about that. Scotty Burnside will be by later on. Yaremchuk. We got Business of Sport today. Rich Winter, of course, and also the business of professional sports and maybe coming around for a second opportunity. We're going to touch on that today in the business of sports. We'll get a lot of your thoughts. 833-401-1440. I asked a question on X. I'll ask it to you. You get one move if you're Stan Bowman. You can only make one. What would the move be? Why? And how are you going to facilitate it? Is it realistic? What can you do? I'm curious what people think, because right now I'm not sure there's some bad ideas, right? Like, trading McDavid, don't be stupid, right? Trading Draisaitl. And I'm sorry, like, I know some people trade Evan Bouchard. I don't think that would be the best. Well, I guess anybody's tradable. Depends on what you get in return. But when I look at the Oilers, there is not one solution. They've got to be better. It's just that simple. And now I crunched the numbers quickly for Kapanen and Nugent Hopkins to come back on the roster. Well, Nugent's on the roster. It counts against Cap, I should say. And Kapanen is on LTIR. So for Kapanen to come off LTIR, the move they'd have to make would be Tomasic. You can't send Clattenburg down, and I wouldn't anyway, but you couldn't because the cap wouldn't work. The Oilers could activate Kapanen and have Nugent Hopkins from IR, and if they sent Tomasic down, they would be at $95,489,999. So they'd basically be $10,000 on, like, just slightly under the cap. So they could do it. You can't do it with Clattenburg because if you send him down, he doesn't make as much as Tomasic. Then they're over the cap. So that's how you do it. So, and then the other question would be who else comes out of the lineup? And it sure as hell ain't Clattenburg for me after last game. When I am missing emotion, at some point, the coach, you can't just say, well, we're loyal to guys. No, you got to send a message. It's 25 freaking games. You got Clattenburg out there playing with emotion, maybe more than half the lineup combined. So Tomasic would come out, Kapanen's in, Nugent Hopkins in, taking another guy out. And at this point, it might be Mangiapane for a game. It might be Frederick for a game. Like, honestly, like, those guys got to get going. Enough's enough. It's just, this is professional sports, man. It's not always easy. And you would think the coach has to be at the end of the line on those two. So we'll discuss all that and more. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Wilhock beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Wilhocking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Call to place your pre-order today at 780-986-2537.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Saskatoon Blades. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
And it's Crazy Hair Day. Sculpt your wackiest hairdo and you could win prizes like teddy bear toss tickets, a team signed jersey, and more.
Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Oil Kings Blades. Crazy Hair Day, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on. The basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.226. Welcome back. Wednesday afternoon, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having a fantastic Wednesday. I know it's hard, Order fans. Go for a walk tonight. Serenity now. Or maybe you're like, you know what? I want to watch an entertaining game. I'm going to watch another game. Well, that's fair too. I could understand it because last night, well, unless you're a Stars fan, there wasn't a whole lot of entertainment. Well, Connor Clattenburg scoring, I guess that was the one excitement for Order fans, because there was not a whole lot of good vibes in that game, because it was It was an ugly, ugly performance by the Edmonton Oilers, and not the first. And unless they figure things out, it's not going to be the last. I don't buy to the theory. Oh, they've reached, this. It can't get lower than this. Yeah, sadly, it can. Until you gotta start digging your way out. It's just, you know what? It's just that simple. So there you go. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Back-to-back exciting BCHL action this weekend at the Thompson Family Arena. You have, of course, Friday night, Surrey's in town, and then Black Falls on Saturday. Get your tickets, sgsaints.ca, or go down in person. Fantastic barn, man. They've been getting great crowds there. It's people love it. It's a great building, so check it out. As we welcome to the show, former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, ace analyst on the NHL Network, as well as my co-host on the DFO Rundown, Mike Rupp, joins us. Rupper, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are we doing?
Well, today's the day where Rupper. You know what? If I had taken one course, then I could say I'm equal to a psychologist, because there's lots of frustration for Oilers fans. And I get it. Like last night was brutal. It was the only game in the NHL, so anybody across the league who wanted to watch hockey was like, oh, let's check in on what's going on in Edmonton and Dallas. You're just like, oh my God, the Oilers are this bad, and they've been this bad at different times of the season. And I know everybody likes to just point to the goalie, but hey, goalies can be better. You know, obviously you can't make one good save and then find yourself in the corner for an empty net rebound. But their lack of winning battles, but what's wild to me, Rupper, is if you look at the fourth goal against, Matthias Ekholm has no one pressuring him at the top of the circle, mishandles the puck, and then has to gift it away, and they score 10 seconds later. On the last goal of the game, Leon freaking Draisaitl, who's one of the most skilled players in the world, is just skating behind the net for a routine. Puck's there, you just pick it up and you go around. He's probably going to ring it around the boards or pass, and he overskates it, loses it, they score. And you're just like, what the hell's going on? Like, you're mentally, physically, emotionally just exhausted or just not dialed in right now. What do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes when a lot of things are going wrong and it just seems like those things just snowball. That's what those mishaps, I would say, from like an Ekholm and a Draisaitl, not to give them a free pass, but it happens. I mean, those plays happen. It's just unfortunate it's all happening, it seems like, at once right now. And the things I'm more concerned about are the decision-making, the defensive lapses, those types of things that should be controllable, or you'd think would be controllable going into a game against the Dallas Stars. That's a game where I don't think anybody would be too upset if they just lost that game. I mean, yeah, you need to win hockey games right now, but the Dallas Stars are a pretty good team, and Edmonton's still trying to find their way. But it's the way it looked. And, to go back to that too, yeah, maybe it is just guys not being sharp, being ready, mentally sharp, whatever that means. I don't know what's necessary. Sometimes just clearing the mind and unplugging a little bit sometimes helps. I mean, because it gets to the point where I would have to assume that video sessions, everything's been said at this point. I mean, what else can you possibly say that hasn't been said already? It's been something that's been ongoing here for a little bit. So now it's just about each player just making sure that they're sharp and taking care of business, and winning puck battles is something. It's a decision. That's a decision you make each day when you go to the arena. So yeah, man, last night that was a tough one. I don't know if we've talked about it. You and I talked about it, comparing prior years, and I want to ask you this again: Is it worse now than it's been? I mean, it feels different now than what it's been, because I think that we've always given them the benefit of the doubt in these situations because they've always played themselves out of this. I just don't know, for whatever reason this year, this one feels different to me.
Oh, it does. There's no question about it. It's not been good. They've yet to play more than 2 consecutive solid games in a row. Win or lose, just 2 consecutive solid games. I haven't done it all year long.
No, it's and it's how it's looking, and I agree with what you're saying. That like a lot of those things, it's tough too, because everything is under a microscope, even more so because you just, the layers you have in a hockey team, none of them are in place right now. So you talk about the goaltending, And there's some of those goals last night that the puck should have been saved, but that the play never should have happened. About 2 zones up ice, it never should happen. That doesn't give the goalie a free pass at all. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's just funny how it works. Like, there's situations where the decision making in the neutral zone is so poor that it turns into an opportunity and a shot, like dot lane outside of that out lane, and you're thinking, oh, well, this is where I need to save. You don't get to save. So now it makes the whole thing just look like an absolute disaster. Or there's times where you are playing good defensively and then the puck's going in and you're not getting the save. So it's just nothing seems to be helping each other right now. And it just seems like this vicious cycle.
Yeah, the Oilers last year after 25 games were 12-1. Funny enough, they had 25 points, which is what the Oilers have now. The year before, after a terrible start, last year they were 13-10-2. The year before they were 12-1. So there hasn't been a stretch in that year. They went 10-10-5. They won 5 in a row, right? Like they found their stride. That's the year they changed the coach, and you know what? They got on a roll, and that hasn't happened yet. And you know, I outlined it earlier. Like Leon Draisaitl has 17 defensive zone giveaways so far this year. Last year he had 22 all year. The year before he had 20. The year before that he had 24. Like he's on pace for like 51, 52, right? Like it's not a little bit different where maybe he's on pace for 30 and you're like, okay, a little bit higher. Maybe it's an oddity. Like it's so far gone right now. And he's not the only one. And these are the guys who usually are like, hey, they handle the puck lots. They make the majority of the right decisions. Goaltending hasn't been as good. Their defensive zone play hasn't been good. 5-on-5, they'll go long stretches and generate absolutely nothing. Like they've got a guy 2 years removed from being a 5th rounder Rupper that had more energy and guts than anybody had in their whole team last night. Looked more engaged, and that's great for Clattenburg, but it's not great for your team.
No, it's not. And I heard you say before I came on, and I think you're right. When you get to a situation like this, and I've kind of already said that there isn't much more to be said as far as in the room. It seems like, I think Connor McDavid seemed a little exasperated after the game, deservingly so. But this is the time where, all right, well, the only thing you can control here is who's bringing effort. And if it's going to be somebody else, like put those guys in the lineup, whoever they are, elevate them in the lineup. I mean, that's something that is will speak volumes. You need more from guys on this team. And you mentioned Mangiapane, Frederick. I mean, that's the start of it. But there's everybody. Everyone's got another level, and you got to start just rewarding the guys that are bringing puck battle wins, going out there and giving a good, honest effort. I mean, these are the types of things, as dumb as that may sound, like that's what you're working with right now. Like we are going to reward guys who are ready to play each game. So I don't know where this team goes, but I mean, you're basically stripping it down to the studs here, and like that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, well, 100%. And so and hey, I understand the human element. I do think that mental and physical and emotional fatigue can be a factor, but the truth of the matter is, that's a factor, but it's not well, you know what? We'll just wait till game 40. By game 40, you could be so far out that then you got to play great, and then you have some bad luck, and then you're out anyway. Like they got to find a way to start stringing some wins together here, Rupper. They only have one game in their next 6 days. They have today, tomorrow, Friday off. They play Saturday afternoon, then they don't play again till Tuesday. In your experience, can one game in 6 days, can it make you feel that much more refreshed? Or because you're so frustrated, can the break end up being just as bad?
You got to get away from it. I mean, you've got to find a way to, whatever that is for you to unplug. I mean, in the past, I mean, I've been on teams where they give you the team credit card and say, go out and have some drinks together and hang out and just have a good time, and just to not talk about hockey, just go out there and just have a good dinner and have a night and make that almost like a turning of the page. I'm not necessarily thinking that that's what the mindset is nowadays, but it's something similar where get away from the rink, but also maybe there's a team function you could work in there of some sort, just to kind of have fun again, because this isn't fun. I mean, it's not fun for anybody. None of the fans are having fun watching it. The players going to the rink. I mean, you're excited because you're living your dream of playing in the NHL, but as soon as that puck drops and you start getting pushed back on your heels, it all comes back again. How much pressure is on the line here? So I think that yeah, it's something that you could look at it. I don't think many do now, but I think you could look at it and say, oh, well, we've got a lot of days. I mean, you've got some practice days. That's huge, but they can't be long. They can't be grueling. Not long video sessions. Like get work done and then get out of the rink and just unplug. I think that's something that you absolutely have to do if you want to dig out of this.
Okay. Rupper, we look at a few other teams, and the San Jose Sharks started 0-4-2, and people are like, oh my God, this is going to be a brutal year. And suddenly they're 11-5-1. Celebrini's playing great. They've turned it around after a really slow start. Now, tonight they got a huge test against the Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the NHL. You're the Sharks. Like, how much can youthful exuberance carry a team, and just, the excitement when you have that many guys who just, seem like they're having fun more than anything else?
Yeah, I mean that there's probably, not probably, there's less pressure on those guys. Those guys are high energy. I mean, they're kind of learning on the fly here as a group. But it's something that it will get harder as the season goes on for them. But I think if you're in their situation, I mean, you're banking points whenever you can, and they're sitting in a pretty good spot right now. I don't think anybody thought that they would be where they're at. I mean, the way they looked last year, they're a fun ticket to watch. I was excited to see what next steps they take this season, but to be in consideration here for a playoff spot is kind of nuts through whatever 23 games or whatever they've played. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that up. I'll tell you what, though, they're getting some good goaltending. That Askarov's been incredible. So, I mean, that's something where if you can keep putting up numbers like that, and they could keep seeing the success from some of these young players, they're a dangerous group because they are kind of playing with house money. I mean, they're going out there, and it's very tough. And we talk about it all the time throughout. It's hard to play teams that, I don't know how to explain it, especially later in the season. It's non-playoff teams where we talk about those being trap games, because they're doing things that are just a little bit different. They're not where they're supposed to be. They're finding ways to maybe even cheat for offense at certain times. I mean, it's just an unorthodox way of playing, and they're having success kind of doing that. So, yeah, I mean, they got a bunch of young bucks that are willing to run up and down the ice, and they're pretty dangerous if you let them play that game.
Yeah, they're an exciting team. No question about it. What about, I know that we've done it. Where does Logan Cooley, does he push his way into Team USA? Do you think there's a chance?
So it's funny. I know you saw the Billy Guerin comments, just pretty much getting it out there now. And a lot of people probably thought this too, but saying that just basically there's going to be, paraphrasing here, but there's going to be some upset people because you can't just go on your offensive prowess to make Team USA. Like, you've got to be able to check and be able to defend. And so Logan Cooley's an interesting one because I'm still kind of learning that part of his game. I mean, he's got a little bit of grit in his game that I didn't know he had. But as far as skill, the way he's scoring this year, he could score a bunch of different ways. This kind of goes in what you and I have been talking about whether it's Team Canada or Team USA. It can't just be about points to make the team, because both teams respectfully have those players. So it's about, can you play center? Can you play wing? Can you defend? Can you play in different situations? I mean, I think he's certainly gotten himself on that radar, but I think there's certain players like his teammate Clayton Keller. There's probably Cole Caulfield, Alex DeBrincat. I mean, you've got some players that can they do something different than what their MO is, and that's scoring goals or creating offense. So, I think Logan Cooley, if I'm mentioning that group I just did, I think he's got a good shot. So it's going to be some tough decisions, but it was interesting. Billy Guerin kind of got out with that already, because just basically stating, like, you might have better numbers than a lot. Some of the guys on the team, or all the guys on the team for that matter. That doesn't lock up a roster spot for Team USA, or the same, I'd say, for Team Canada.
Rupper, always good to catch up with you, buddy. We will chat with you Friday on the rundown. Happy Thanksgiving. What's on the menu at Chateau Rupp for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, so just pretty much traditional. I know we're actually going to a family member's house. I remember last year, we got to keep this quiet because I don't want to offend anybody. But we had double turkey, okay? Because there was experimental fried turkey, and then we went with traditional turkey, and the plates were sitting there, and experimental fried turkey got demolished because it was so good, and then traditional turkey got left alone. So I'm hoping this year I don't have to take some of the traditional just to make everybody feel good. Like, oh, I liked yours too. I just want the fried turkey. That's what I'm hoping for. So I don't know yet. I'll keep you posted, but I'll find that out tomorrow.
Fried turkey.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never had that. Okay. You got, well, hey, Americans love the fried food, so I get it. But fried turkey would be pretty good. Do you guys, are you a football watch? Like, is the football game on, or do you not really care about that on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's on. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I've kind of checked out a while ago. But it's more or less tradition. Tradition.
Myles Garrett is worth it, dude. The guy's going to set the sack record. He's absolutely killing it right now.
He is. He's unbelievable. But he's the one reason to watch. But football will be on by tradition purposes and just a relaxing day. So it'll be fun.
For fun, Rupper, which team is in a worse spot to keep their franchise guy excited? The Browns or the Canucks and Quinn Hughes?
I'm going to say in a better position or worse.
Like who's going to be in a worse position? Like where that guy's like, I'm out.
Honestly, I think Quinn. I think Vancouver. I hate to say it, but I think that's the situation that's going to be playing out here.
Yeah, well, you're probably not wrong. I could see it happening for sure. Rupert, thanks for this, buddy. Have some fried turkey. We'll talk to you on Friday.
All right. Awesome, buddy. Thanks.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from NHL Network, as well as DFO Rundown. Quick break. It is 2:43. And we got some one event that is like, it's the event of the event for hockey fans every year. We'll talk about it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? Only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Stories are told to make a point, and GS Construction takes them very seriously. We're not talking about fairy tales. GS Construction looks at the story old pipes tell us, a tale of time and pressure and endurance. So when those old pipes are ready to end their story, GS Construction starts a new chapter by repairing or rebuilding, or in some cases, renewing the underground infrastructure that supports our modern lives, making sure every community's story continues on safely and reliably. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old mom managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "Where'd I Put My Phone" moment.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Friday is on now at GMC. Get a $1,000 Black Friday bonus on all 2025 and 2026 GMC models at participating dealers. Whether it's the bold Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab, the rugged Sierra 2500 HD AT4X, the versatile Canyon, or the adventure-ready Terrain Elevation all-wheel drive, every drive delivers unstoppable performance and premium comfort. Get your $1,000 Black Friday bonus now. Conditions apply. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. As the Oilers, they got a few days off. Probably comes at a perfect time because they need a little healing time for lots of different reasons. But you know what? Hey, they're not the only hockey team in town, and the other hockey team in town right now is one of the best in the Western Hockey League, the Edmonton Oil Kings. And we're coming up, man, this has kind of snuck up on us a little bit because they've been on the road so often. You want to talk about road warriors. They just came back from their own 15-day road trip. They had a lot of success. The Oil Kings 18-5-2 now, I think, this season, off to an excellent start. And we are joined by the gentleman. Can I say the brains behind the operation? We'll see. As we get to our Oil King report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. Kevin Radomski joins us. KR, how you doing, buddy?
What a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Jason.
Well, hey, thanks for coming in. And we're talking about the teddy bear toss. Now, we'll talk about the season. The season's been great, but this year for the teddy bear toss, there's a few things. Hey, you got the new jersey, which is pretty sweet, by the way, something you've never done before. But you're also taking on the PA Raiders. And obviously no one knew this when the season started, but the two best teams and they're going head to head right now. Like that in itself is going to make it a great game. So I'll start with this. Are there any tickets left?
There is. Actually, the lower bowl has been totally sold out since September.
Yeah.
We've got under 2,000 seats left in Rogers Place, an NHL building.
Yeah.
Under 2,000 seats remaining. Gracie started at $20.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, you can still grab them.
Okay. Still grab them. And so you guys are in first. The Raiders are in second. Now, they played a few less games than you guys, but the game itself
it's going to be great.
Should be unreal coming up on December 7th. It's an afternoon game on a Sunday. It's the teddy bear toss kind of. When do you decide at the start of the year? Because obviously it's in December, obviously. But like, what goes into deciding which game is the teddy bear toss game?
You know, we try and say to ourselves, what's best for fans and what's best for families.
Okay.
And that's where that Sunday game, it's a 3:00 door, 4:00 puck drop. We'll have you back at home just after supper time. That's where it all starts. We said, how does it make it the best for the fans? And we looked at that December 7th Sunday game. Great opponent, to your point, the Prince Albert Raiders. Of course, we lined up with them in the playoffs last year. Didn't go our way, but we pushed a 2 seed as a 7 seed to 7 games last year. It's going to be great. So you start saying to yourself, great hockey with a great time for families, and it's the #1 promotional game of the year, the Teddy Bear Toss.
Yeah, well, it's the game that lots of people want to go to. It's growing. How many teddy bears were tossed last year?
15,500.
15,000. So that's the new record for you guys?
It's second all time.
For you, second all time for the Elks?
Second all time. So what we've actually collected 17,000 bears one year. So since COVID, it's been the #1, 15,005.
Okay.
So last year we had 17,224 fans. So our challenge is we want to sell out Rogers Place. Let's just start there.
Okay.
And then the second challenge is if you already have your tickets, you already know that you're coming next Sunday, which is crazy.
Mhm.
If you can bring more than one bear, we can help even more families in our community.
Yeah, and because of course, all the stuffed animals go to Santa's Anonymous.
That's right.
All the money raised that day. And I'm going to get you to grab that jersey because you guys, this is something you've never done before. You call it the Hyper Edmonton theme jersey. So it's got on there, as I'm looking at, for any of our listeners, people can watch on YouTube, but it's got Rogers Place in the background. It's got the Talus balls on one of the sleeves.
Right there.
What else you got?
You can't be Edmonton without having the Talus balls, right? Mootart Conservatory. We've got the Art Gallery of Alberta. We've got the Legislative Grounds.
Wow.
We've got it all. So right now, if you're in Edmonton, you know every one of these marquee landmarks. Walterdale Bridge is on there as well. The only way to get your hands on these jerseys, we're going to be raffling them and silent auctioning.
Okay.
Meaning that for $5, you can get in on a raffle.
Okay.
And silent auction, it's wherever the market pushes it. But all of that money, every dime of it goes to Santa's Anonymous.
And there's only basically 20 of these jerseys.
25. Yeah, there's basically 25
okay.
of them. So even the players that are injured that aren't playing will have a jersey as well.
Okay.
But then the way it works is after you've won your either auction or your raffle, at the end of the game, we bring all of the lucky people down onto our bench. The players come out, take it right off their back, autograph it. So you get an autographed game-used jersey.
And it's a jersey that no one else is going to have.
It's one of a kind.
One of a kind.
One of a kind.
So, because you come up with new jerseys every year.
Yep.
How involved are you in the jersey decision?
Very.
Yeah.
So very, like at the end of the day, I always say, if you're the one that's going to take the heat, then you better be happy with what the product looks like.
Okay.
And I can tell you that last year we were really happy with their jersey. For those who remember, it was like a Christmas tree with all the ornaments and decorations. The year before that was like a barrage of bears. It was just bears top to bottom. This one, we said, you know what? We love where we play. We are so lucky to be able to do business and do work here in Edmonton. And there's a lot of beauty here at Edmonton. And we threw on the Talus balls too for fun.
Yeah.
But there's also things like a hot dog from our Wiener Wednesday, just laying a strewn on this jersey. We've got popcorn and all kinds of teddy bears because the Edmonton Oil Kings are all about fun, family fun, great hockey. But you're going to come, if you're there for hockey, I promise you, it's going to be one heck of a game.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to be there for the teddy bear toss, there is nothing else like it. No photo, no video, nothing does it justice. When we score our first goal and 15,000 plus bears rain down onto the ice, it is a spectacle unlike anything else.
And it's funny. I've talked to the players, like they get amped up. They want to be the guy who scores the teddy bear toss goal. Like we had like Isaac Howard on. He's played in one and he actually scored the teddy bear toss goal. Yeah, he did.
Oh, I love it.
And so they're having the teddy bear toss coming up for the Condors. And he's like, well, I got to go 2 for 2 if I can. Like,
right?
Players want to. I get it. Like, it's a big goal. The place goes nuts. And, you know, like, and the players, what's great about it is they know that there's going to be a 10, 50-minute delay because you got to clean up everything like that. And it's become a real big deal as we're joined by Kevin Radomski, the Director of Business Operations and alternate governor for the Edmonton Oil Kings. Teddy Bear Toss is next Sunday, December 7th. And as I said, it's the two best teams going at it in the Western Hockey League. Well, at least in the Eastern Conference. I don't want to disparage Everett.
I was going to say Everett might have
Yeah.
something to say about
Everett's
that.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But you guys and the Raiders are both off to a good start. So easiest way for people to get tickets for the game.
Super simple. Starts at $20, oilkings.ca. Really, really simple. Don't delay though. Like literally, I know some promoters come out and say, oh, there's only 5 tickets left. We have less than 2,000 seats left. So we're so happy about the support we get. and you want to make sure you don't miss out on this game.
Yeah, and it is it's fun. The players get into it, so that the jerseys are raffling. Anything else you got special coming in for the Teddy Bear Toss?
Yeah, you know what? Every Sunday, with our Teddy Bear Toss game being on a Sunday, we have a kids carnival zone that's also part of the ticket price. Like, for no extra charge, your kids can go out in the bouncy castle, balloon artists, face painters, that kind of thing. And of course, we have kids food combos starting at $7.50. So the value is so much more than just the ticket price. We have great value at our concessions, and I promise you, your family will never have more fun.
Slurpy Sean's asking, hey, is there any way you turn that jersey into an ugly Christmas sweater for fans to buy?
We did ugly Christmas sweaters about 5 or 6 years ago. We did that as well. And it might come back around again, right? Like, I'm old in this role, so I can just keep recycling my ideas every decade. We'll kind of bring them back and they'll look new again. But yeah, we've done the Christmas jersey. We've done the Santa Claus. But we sure as never have done something so hyper local like this.
No, he's meaning like to actually go and order ugly Christmas jerseys that are similar to that.
Yeah, great idea. All right, we'll bring you on to the marketing. You're part of the marketing team now. I like it.
Now, you guys have been on the road a lot.
Oh, yes,
so you have a lot of home games coming up December and January. Now, this is obviously the big marquee event, but what are some other events coming up for Oil Kings?
Well, it's so crazy to say that next week is December, right?
Yes.
Like, that's crazy. But I can tell you, on Sunday, December the 14th, we're going to have photos with Santa. Sunday, December 28th, Dino Day. We're going to have dinosaurs, those inflatable dinosaurs roaming the concourse. And then, of course, New Year's Day, special puck drop time of 2:00. We're going to have fireworks set to music after we're done playing the game. Ooh. So if you've got young kids that maybe they can't stay up till midnight the night before ringing in the new year, I promise you we'll have a lot of fun ringing in the new year on January 1st. It's a Thursday. And we're going to do a pyro show to music after the game.
Oh, that's nice. The other thing I should mention, not only is the tickets $20, you get kids food combos starting at $7.50, but they max out at $10.
That's right. Everything's under 10.
Yeah. So it is, if you're going to go with your kids, if there's a game to go to and you're like, your son or daughter's been saying, hey, I want to go to an Oil Kings game. Like, all of them are great, but this is the marquee game of the year for sure. And less than 2,000 seats. And last year it sold out. So a really good chance it's going to sell out. So don't wait until next Thursday and then be like, oh my God, I didn't get tickets. Yes. So,
there's some great upper bowl seats still remaining. You'll be nice and low in the lower rows of the upper bowl. I promise. You're going to love watching your bear that you throw journey to the ice. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Because that is it. Because usually it's rare that a bear gets just one throw.
Oh, right? Very rare. And that's part of the beauty of it, is the people who kind of sit in the splash zone, for lack of a better term, they're getting bears hammering them and they're throwing. We actually have a fan. She's a season seat holder. Her name is Hillary. Wears a helmet to the teddy bear toss because all the teddy bears are coming. She's row 1 right against the glass, and she loves it.
Oh yeah, she's getting bombarded.
Dialed in.
No question. Now, I know you're heavily involved. Obviously, you're not the GM, but you watch the hockey team very closely. And it's 18-6-1-1.
Yeah,
really good start considering how many road games you've had this season. Like, this is. I knew the team was going to be good, but probably playing even better than maybe people thought.
Yeah, Kurt Hill, our general manager and president, done a great job. The drafting and the development of the players. And of course, new head coach Jason Smith. You never know how the new head coach is going to meld with the team. I would say this is beyond our expectations for the performance of the team. And there's been so many players that have really stepped up. And that's what happens, is that you have a lot of great players, but then some players that even overachieve more than that, right? And it's thrilling. This team, they can score. I can tell you that right now.
No.
That goal horn goes off.
Yeah, you guys lead the league. You got 114 goals so far. Now, you've played a few more games than some teams, but still, like, PA is the second best team, and they're 28 goals behind you. Like, they'd have to average 6 goals a game to catch you.
Just to catch us. Yeah.
So, no, you guys can definitely score, and you don't give up a ton. But the other thing is, not only is the Teddy Bear Toss fun, like, this is the marquee game of the year.
Yep.
PA, I think, comes here twice.
Yep.
A year.
Twice a year.
All right. And so they're coming in red hot. That should be a hell of a game.
Yeah, no question. And of course, our players, I think of a guy like Ethan McKenzie, one of our alternate captains. He's already said, like, I can't wait to play PA to kind of avenge last year's playoffs, right? Like,
totally.
It's a big deal. And these players, they remember and they want to put their mark on it. And the fans are the ones that win and win again. You got a great game with Teddy Bear Toss, but then the game on the ice is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. So awesome stuff, man. It's good to catch up with you, and we'll talk to you again soon with lots of other fun stuff. And make sure to get your tickets. Go to oilkings.ca, starting at $20, and remember the food combo for kids is $7.50 max, up to $10. So you can have a ticket and some food and a drink and everything for $30, which is a pretty good deal.
Thanks for the great support. Love it.
Thanks, Kev. That's Kevin Radomski from the Oil Kings. They're off to a great start. They do have 2 more road games this week, and then they'll finally get some home games back, which will be great. And hey, when you come in, if they win both, they'll come back with 20 wins in their first 28 games. That wouldn't be bad at all for the Oil Kings. Let's get to the Con Man and the Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Loca. 2 locations, but now they deliver. Over 200 chef-prepared meals can come right to your door. Make cooking easier and healthier at loca.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
A busy evening in the NHL. 15 games on the schedule, including the Preds in Detroit. You got the Lightnings and the Flames. Blues taking on the Devils. Penguins host the Sabres. Hurricanes and Rangers. Jets travel to Washington. Avs host the Sharks. Sens taking on the Golden Knights. Ducks and Anaheim in the Kraken, or Ducks and Canucks, and then the Kraken taking on the Stars and the Association. Toronto Raptors in action. NBA Cup group play. They'll host the Pacers. Tip-off set for 6:30 from Toronto and the AJ Fort Mac hosting Lloyd. Drumheller and Devon and Olds takes on Calgary, and the BCHL Crusaders hosting Salmon Arm. That starts at 7 in PWHL. Vancouver in Ottawa at 5. With a win this afternoon, Team Holman is heading to the best-of-3 final of the 2025 Canadian Curling Trials. They'll take on the winner of the matchup between Team Black and Team Anderson. And on the men's side, T. Jacobs clinching top spot and will advance to the best-of-3 final. Some news from the NFL. 4-time Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement and returning to the Detroit Lions. He announced his retirement from the NFL in June at the age of 29 and is now eligible to return to the lineup immediately. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and look around the NHL with Scott Burnside. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game. Go deep! What you watching, Mr. Rooter?
The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Drain Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter. For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane.
After 2 o'clock.
For more information on sales or service, visit
I know how you're doing.
northwestcrane.com or call today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes
Wednesday
your water
afternoon
to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
The Nissan Black Friday event is here. A full month packed with awesome vehicles and exclusive deals. Right now, finance remaining 2025 Rogue models for 0% for up to 60 months and start planning your adventures. This Black Friday, we've got great offers and limited inventory. Get yours today before they're all gone. These offers won't last. Go see your local Nissan dealer or Nissan.ca for more details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
I love the colorful clothes you wear and the
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.308, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. That's where you can say hello to the Deckmeister. So check it out at Sports 1440 YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button when you're there. We'll appreciate you'll appreciate. We get more content for you, which is fantastic. The Oilers, they were the opposite of fantastic last night, and now the big question is what happens going forward, because you're reaching the point now where you can't just say, "Well, they've come back in the past." Yet the past is the past. There's no guarantee they're coming back, right? I think we all know that there's no guarantee that they're magically going to get especially all the way back to Stanley Cup final. That's pretty hard, but this was a year when you can look at how Vegas is playing and even LA. Like, this should be the year that Edmonton should have won the division, honestly. And they're not coming close to playing up to their potential. They're not, right? Like, the goaltending we think is probably average, maybe slightly above average. And they're not playing their potential, but it's the other positions that have to improve. Now, that being said, a change has to. Now, I said it in the summertime. I was a firm believer that they were not going to enter after the trade deadline with the same tandem. And I still believe it. You just can't run it back with the same two again. And you know what? I've heard, the reporting, and I'm not sure it's 100% accurate that they were saying, hey, don't move off from Calvin Pickard, right? Automatically don't do it. I don't think that's the case from my understanding. I think the players are saying, hey, it's not just on him. Which is true. It's not just on the goalies, but at some point you got to change something. You got to change something, right? Like, we have a lot of texts coming in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our UL inbox. We'll get to that. Get to all those in a second. I just want to remind you, it is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We have the new Jason Gregor Show pick 'em play of the day special with some odds boosts for you. And I thought, hey, Oiler fans, you know what you need? Sometimes misery loves company. So we have the one where Flames and Canucks are losing tonight. And then the other one has McKinnon and Celebrini each picking up some points. So you can check it out. PlayAlberta.ca and get in on those. The Oilers, because we have a lot of Gregor, would you trade Binnington for Skinner? Well, yes, but it can't just be Binnington for Skinner, because then the Oilers have to shed $3.4 million. How else are you shedding $3.4 million off the roster? How are you doing it? Right? Like, now, would you just say, hey, they'll just take Mangiapane? Like, I don't know. Are the Blues going to do that? Right? Probably not. Right? Do they need an Andrew Mangiapane? for this year and next year? I don't think so. Maybe they'd eat salary, right? Because Binnington's not having a good year this year, right? And so this is the way I look at it. You're trading a $2.6 million question mark for right now. What is a $6 million question mark? Well, that's not a that's question mark for question mark. Now there are some differences, right? Different styles. Binnington's a more athletic goalie. There's no question. Binnington, heck, he'll bring a little bit more intensity to the team, right? He'll mouth off at someone on the opposition. We've seen that before. And for a team that doesn't have a lot of that, probably not a bad thing. Like, could you imagine if all of a sudden Skinner or Picker got in a scrum, came out and blockered somebody? Might wake up the bench a bit. Like, they need something. They need a lot of things, but that's one of them. So would I do that trade? Sure. But you have to consider the salary cap. So you can't just do Skinner for Binnington straight up, no retention, nothing. You can't do it. It doesn't help them cap. Well, first of all, it wouldn't fit in the cap this year. So you'd have to add would St. Louis make the trade if it's Skinner for Binnington straight up, if they had to retain $3 million on Binnington? Now keep in mind that let's say they like Skinner and they think, hey, you know what? We think we can help him here. Okay, but he doesn't have a contract for next year. So now you're paying Binnington $3 million next year and you got to pay Skinner something. So I don't know if they would do that. So that's why you have to look at all sides of it. In an ideal world, I'd rather probably go into the playoffs with Binnington and Skinner if I had my choice. Because now I've got two guys, and I'm like, I just need one of them to play well. And because that's what's happened in the past, right? Skinner will have a hiccup. Pickard comes in. It's okay, sure. Maybe Binnington's that guy, and then you have Skinner. Because I get that Binnington won a cup, but he won a cup it'll be 7 years ago. How long can you hold on to while he's won a cup stuff? Right? Like, he's not playing well right now. The Oilers need help right now. They don't need help that's going to be, wow, this guy did something 7 years ago help. They need somebody who they know can play better. Or maybe they just say, you know what? Can it be any worse? Let's roll the dice. So I could understand that thought process. The salary cap doesn't work. So you have to look at that in an acquisition. But something's got to give here. And the manager, you can't, the players don't want to trade their friend. I don't care. It's a harsh business. It's a harsh business. And do you want to win? At the end of the day, do you want to win? So that's what we'll see. Let's get to it because we asked the question. Let's get to it in our oil report brought to you by, we'll get some comments actually from last night, Connor, from Draisaitl and McDavid, because you could hear the exasperate. Like, they don't have an answer right now. I don't think they have an answer, but we'll get to that in our oil report brought to you by Go Auto, your place to shop and stop if you're looking for a vehicle. Trucks, SUVs, cars, you name it, they got it. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. GoAuto.ca. And after the game last night, McDavid, he came out and said, hey, man, I kind of feel sorry for the goalies. The way we're playing in front of them, can't blame him. And he's right. Now, that doesn't mean that they get a pass. They have to play better. But their expected save percentage, 865 for Skinner, 852 for Pickard. It's worse than the NHL. The Oilers' team defense is not good enough right now. And it's not systemic. Look at the mistakes. Look at the giveaways last night. That's not due to system. Hey, Matthias Ekholm, you got a lot of time in the high slot. Well, the system says you should mishandle the puck and then give it away. No, it doesn't. Leon Draisaitl, you're circling behind the net. No one's on you. Boom. Overskates it. Like, what the hell's going on? Right? Like, it's the mistakes they're making. Look at Frederick and Mangiapane in the offensive zone. Like, those are just bad plays. Bad plays that lead to Trent. Now, neither one led to a direct high danger chance, but both of them were the first mistake that led to a goal against within the next 10 seconds. And that's a problem because it keeps happening. Some games it's an errant pass in the offensive zone. Some games it's a missed assignment in the neutral zone. Some games it's a lost battle in the defensive zone. And if you had the bingo card, Connor Halley, for the Edmonton Oilers, right, under the G, neutral zone giveaway. Under the G, defensive zone giveaway. Like, man, those numbers would be getting called all the time. Your bingo card, you'd be full. Because there's easily 10 or 15 of them way too often, right? Way too often. And we'll see where they go. But Stan Bowman, as the GM, that's his job. It's his job, even if it's a small move, to make the team better. So Nugent Hopkins, Kapanen, they should be returning to the lineup on Saturday. Should help them, but it can't solve all their problems. Guys got to play better. Right? It's just that simple. And maybe you got to ruffle the feathers. But like their mental focus really from opening game of the season hasn't been at the level necessary to win. You go back to the first game, right? Look at that play Skinner made. Now, 25 games later, look at the play Draisaitl made. Look at the play Ekholm made. They're still happening. Different players, but they're still happening. And a lot of them, cons, are unforced errors.
And then, like, you make the errors, but there's no redeeming qualities. That then you let the player, like last night, how many goals did Dallas score where it was just a player, in or around the blue paint untouched?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you go to the blue paint at the NHL level and you score a goal, you're probably thinking, I probably have to pay the price one way or another. I'm going to get cross-checked. It might be a slash, might be, who knows, a shove at the very least, They didn't get any of that. It was just going there untouched and burying it. And it wasn't just once or twice, like more than that in that game. That first period, it was loaded with it. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the discouraging thing. Like, mistakes are going to happen. But what do you do to, get back and try to prevent it from getting up in the back of your net? And it's not happening with the Oilers right now.
Hey, boys, anyway, this Oilers can make a deal with Buffalo for Luukkonen and Byram from Sean. Well, hey, like I've said, any trade is plausible. Depends what you want to give up. And then do you have assets that they'd be interested in? Right? Like, would Luukkonen for Skinner, like, if I'm Buffalo, I'm kind of like, man, we just signed Luukkonen. Are we going to give up on him right away? Now he makes $4.5 million. Skinner's making $2.6 now, but could he make more an extra with the way he's playing? He might be taking less. Like, so who knows? But it is it's something to consider. Hey guys, when do you look at healthy scratching players? Well, he adds Nurse could say he's been consistently bad. Vinny. Well, Nurse can't sit because they don't have a healthy defenseman to sit him right now. Number one. Number two, yeah, it is more than time. Like I said it. If you're bringing Nugent Hopkins and Kapanen into the lineup for Saturday, that means 2 forwards have to come out. Now, in order to bring Kapanen off of LTIR, then Tomasic's the guy who has to go down. Doesn't require waivers, and his cap hit, there's enough money to do it. If you send Clattenburg down, then you have to send another player on top of him. Plus, I wouldn't send him down. He's played well. I have no issue with his game. So I'm not taking him out of the lineup. So if I'm not taking him out of the lineup, now I'm taking Tomasic out. That leaves, there's Janmark, but I haven't really seen Janmark make many big mistakes. Have you? Have you seen a Janmark turnover? I don't really see it. On a team that is turning the puck over all the time. Now, he doesn't score a lot. I totally agree. But got a point last night. That line was fine. I had no issues with it. Like Tomasic, I don't think he's even played poorly the last few games, but unfortunately, it's a numbers game. So he'd have to go down. Then you look at and say, okay, well, if I'm picking 2 wingers that I would have to healthy scratch for a game for Kapanen, right now it's going to be Frederic or Mangiapane. And, that's optically, it's not great, but I don't really care about optics. Optics, schmoptics. Right? You sign a guy to a contract, you want him to play better, he's not playing well. Just because you get healthy scratch for one game doesn't mean the organization's given up on you. It shouldn't cause a rift because you got to look in the mirror and say, I got to play better. It's just that simple. All right, Andrew Mangiapane, he hasn't been beyond awful by any stretch, but he hasn't been good enough, especially lately. So, like, he is just, well, I can't be surprised he's losing this many puck battles. He's not very big, but he's always been a little bit more intense, a little bit more ratty. Haven't seen any ratness from him. So those would be the first 2 guys I would look at if it was me for one game. And then guess what? After that, it's, hey, who's ever going's going. If you're not going for that night, hey, you're going to have to sit in the press box. Now, obviously, there's exceptions. McDavid, Draisaitl, I'm not putting them in the press box. Can we agree with that, right? I think Jack Roslovic has earned the opportunity. If he has an off night, he's not going to the press box. I mean, Zach Hyman's not going to the press. Like, there's obviously it's a select group of players. I think we agree with, but we'll see. Hey guys, Mangiapane just gives me Arvidsson vibes. Doesn't fit our play style. Well, I don't know about that, Trey. What's the Oilers' play style? Like, Mangiapane should be able to possess the puck and just not make bad giveaways. Now he's not a Zamboni like Arvidsson was last year. I don't see that as much. Hey guys, Luukkonen needs a change of scenery, has a high ceiling. Just not sure any team wants to take on Skinner at this point, Sean. Well, Skinner's a UFA at the end of the year, right? If he might just be part of a deal that makes the money work if you're willing to give up more to do it, right? And there's teams out there that probably think, hey, goalie, he wouldn't be the first goalie who went to a second team and played well. Far from it. The list is really long in the NHL of goalies who get to their second team where it wasn't working the first time and it gets better. Not always, but it gets better. Hey, Gregor, why does no one talk about Henrique? He's played poorly for a long time. Sizzler. Well, what's your expectation? What do you mean he's played poorly? Is he getting dominated 5-on-5? Wins key faceoffs. He's the most used for it on the penalty kill, man. You have to look at certain areas of what he plays. Would I like a little more production from him? Yes, but that doesn't mean he's played poorly. I don't see him getting dominated. I don't see him losing tons of battles. I don't see him making horrific decisions with the puck. If Adam Henrique's my fourth line center, taking key draws and winning faceoffs on the penalty kill, I think my team's pretty deep, actually. I don't have a problem with it. So I'm not on the Henrique sucks train, to be honest. I'm not. I don't think he's been that bad at all this year. I think he's been okay. Not great, but if I had to list top 10 players, he wouldn't be in my top 10 of guys I need more from. He wouldn't be in my top 10. Quick break. We'll return to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right. So Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating. Ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free. And the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie, pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, which showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$327. Man, texts are flying in. Actually, some good ones. We'll get to lots of those on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got Business Sport coming up with Rich Winter, also Chris Stashnik joining us today on the show. But first, it is time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Stop in at McD's today because it's you can enjoy about $9.99 with the McChicken, small, medium fries, medium drink for only $9.99, as well as a fillet of fish and more at McDonald's. Talking all things NHL, joined by a gentleman who's recently inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, Scotty Burnside. Scotty, how you doing, man?
Jason, doing very well. But you know what? I'm now intrigued because I was listening to the ads. What is the Gregor special at Papa John's? What is that?
Well, the Gregor special, you get 20% off all the time.
Oh, I thought it was like a specific, double
Well, I would say the I like to put ranch sauce instead of tomato sauce on my pizza.
I'm with you on that. I'm against the heavy tomato sauce.
Yeah, so that's that on anyone really there at Papa John's, but that's what I do normally, and it's really good, especially when I do it with the loaded with the meat, pepperoni, and sausage and bacon with some ranch sauce. It's a good contrast.
Nice. All right.
It's a good contrast. From an outside perspective, I don't know how much you've watched of the Edmonton Oilers or not, but like last night was kind of peak. You look at there's Ekholm, there's Draisaitl, guys who have no one around them that are just suddenly turning pucks over. They're losing battles all over the ice. Like obviously goaltending's an issue. I get it, but there's a lot of issues right now on this team. And maybe they're at the point though, where you just have to make a trade for the sake of making a trade, because we know that one player won't cure everything, but maybe it jolts everybody else out of the funk.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it is a fascinating situation. I mean, it's interesting because I was looking at the standings just before we came on, and of course, got 15 games tonight, and then day off for American Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then 15 more on Black Friday. To me, this is one of the great. It's I think a hallmark part of the regular season. I think it's a flag in the ground. I know we've been saying this for years. Where's your team at American Thanksgiving? It's roughly 1/3 of the way through the season. What do you look like? And of course, the Oilers don't look very good. They don't look as bad as the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, who are dead last in the Eastern Conference. I'm not sure anyone had any of that on their scorecard at the start of the season. So I to me, it's about perspective. Yes, it's ugly. And, I think I was with some colleagues in Toronto, actually at Hall of Fame weekend, watching that Colorado game in Edmonton. And, there've been moments where this team and rightfully so, has been embarrassed by how they've played and how little structure they have, and just how little they look like a team that went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. But you look at the standings, a couple points out. Yes, they, the teams ahead of them have some games in hand. Like, to me, I really do think, you do have to let it breathe. And I get the angst for fans who are like, how long is this going to go on? And I think it's a legitimate question. But at this stage, and to your point, do you need to make a move? Well, well, what's the move that you make? I mean, there simply are no goaltending answers. If you're thinking, well, let's make a deal for a goaltender, there are no goaltending answers out there, and certainly none that wouldn't cost you far more than you should be paying, for what would be, likely a lateral move, maybe a slight improvement. I think you honestly, you have to let this team breathe. And again, I think they've earned that. I get how they play is on many nights embarrassing where they are at the standings, is also well below expectations, what they should be. But I don't know. I think when you talk about making a move, you'd be talking about a bottom six move anyway, likely. Unless you're going to turn around and find, Vancouver's another team that's even, worse off and has worse issues. And, or Patrick Alvin and Jim Rutherford really opening business there. And would they care to do business with Edmonton? I wouldn't. But again, I really do think, and it sounds like sort of a cop-out, but you're 2 points out or whatever it is. To me, it's way too early to be saying this is a lost season, because we're not even anywhere close to that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It's not a lost season, but it almost turns from a frustration point to a concern point, right? Like you can be frustrated with the slow start. Oh my God. And then you're like, okay, like it's 25 games here. And like the Oilers on November 8th, a lot of people thought, okay, that they bottomed out. Okay, now they're going to come up, right? They got spanked by Colorado 9-1. And honestly, last night the score was a little bit different, but it was the exact same game. They were down 5-0 Colorado, 4-0 with a goal disallowed. Like it was basically a carbon copy game for the Oilers just 3 weeks later.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And you know what? So where is the line? If it's not American Thanksgiving, then is it the turn of the calendar year? Is it the Olympic break? Again, there are teams whose expectations were, weren't as high as the Oilers' expectations were, but who find themselves in, I would argue, much more dire circumstances. And whether that's Toronto or Vancouver or Nashville, I still don't get what happened. How is that possible with Nashville dead last in the NHL? And so I think there are more teams at the American Thanksgiving marker in the schedule that have much more serious concerns than the Oilers. Now, certainly, to me, I look at this team and you think, well, is it possible they could miss the playoffs? I still think that's highly unlikely, and really isn't all that matters, right? I mean, Florida's in both teams have had injuries. They've had to sort of stumble through, and the Panthers are in worse shape injury-wise, but I'm sure they're looking at it going, geez, I wish we had 5 or 6 more points. But certainly I don't think there's any kind of alarm there. And when you play that much hockey over the last, both those teams have over the last couple of years, I really do think the perspective is so important, because every single person connected with both those teams really does understand how all that matters is whether you finish in the top 8. That's all that matters.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like once you're in, anything can happen. And maybe this year more than ever, outside of Colorado, who looks like a juggernaut. But just because you're a juggernaut in the regular season doesn't mean you're a juggernaut in the playoffs. We've seen that numerous times in history, but they look really good right now. The Tampa Bay Lightning, very quietly, Scott, find themselves in first place in the Atlantic Division. They've had some key injuries. I actually had picked them. I thought this was the year Tampa would get back. They look really good. My question to you is this the year John Cooper finally gets recognized for Coach of the Year?
I don't know. You know what? I bet, I know John pretty well. I remember interviewing him during a lockout. God, it's got to be 12 or 13 years ago. And he was coaching the AHL and went on, I think it was like an 18-game winning streak. And he was in Norfolk. And that was the first time he and I chatted. And I always enjoy my conversations with him. I have to say, to me, one of the interesting parts about the Tampa Bay Lightning and GM Julian Breezewall, and you look at the Lightning the last 3 years, and it has been, I swear, every year I'm like, I think they could go on a deep run. And they have been iced in the first round three years in a row, twice by Florida. And in both those series looked totally overmatched. And
Yeah.
again, listen, Florida, they are who they are, right? 3 times in a row to a final, back-to-back cup wins. They've made lots of teams look silly. But I have to, I wondered to myself, at what point do Julian Brisebois and John Cooper sit down and say, boy, it's, the man's going to the Hall of Fame, right? He's a Hall of Fame coach in my books.
Yeah.
He's likely, does he win a gold medal in Italy in a few months? Anyway, he's an incredible coaching story. But it's the sands run out for everyone, right? They just run out for everyone. And I wondered when's that time for John Cooper in Tampa? And I'm not suggesting that Julian Brisebois is ever going to get to a point where he fires John Cooper. I can't imagine that happening. But I do think there's probably a time when the two of them sit down and, again, if they played like they did the last couple of years in the playoffs and just looked so, just not really close in series, I thought that they had really good chances to win. When do you have that discussion? But to your point, Jason, they are a team that they haven't been very good at various points this season, had all kinds of injuries, Victor Hedman. They've been missing some key pieces, but very quietly have moved to the top of an Atlantic division that is like all over the map, right? Like it's, at one point in the last couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, I think Detroit, Boston, and Montreal were 1, 2, 3 in whatever order that was. And I was like, well, geez, I don't think I would have had that. And I don't think that's how it's going to finish out, but it was pretty impressive more than a quarter of the way through the season. But Tampa has come back to a spot, and I'm with you. I still really like that team a lot. And I think this is a team that will likely play, if they aren't playing with a chip on their shoulder come next April, then that's a real problem.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Scott Burnside joined us. You mentioned Toronto. They got some concerns for sure, the way they're playing. What about the Rangers? How would you equate the concern level between the Rangers compared to the Maple Leafs?
Well, and I don't know if there's any truth, that GM Chris Drury is lobbying to play every game away from Madison Square Garden, where the Rangers have been shut out more times than they've scored goals, and just a really, surprisingly difficult start for them in general, but especially at home. And that the personnel changes that have gone on with that team over the last year and a half under Chris Drury, the GM, I have been curious, and I wonder, whether you'd like Jacob Trouba or Chris Kreider or Keandre Miller, who has found, I think, a pretty nice home in my mind, one of the best teams in the NHL with the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, he was hurt a little bit, but to me has fit in seamlessly with a very good Carolina team. I'm just not sure exactly what the plan is with the New York Rangers, and certainly their veteran players haven't played up to snuff. And it is easy to forget that a couple of years ago they won a President's Trophy, went to a conference final, and all of a sudden they missed the playoffs last year, and they don't look like, even though they have one of the best goaltenders in the game in Igor Shesterkin, they don't look to me like a playoff team. But the Eastern Conference pretty smashed up. So again, to me, it's too early to have that kind of judgment, although I think there are a lot of red flags coming out of that team, given how they played. And Mike Sullivan had that long run in Pittsburgh, of course. And I just thought I thought that was going to be a nice fit for him going into New York. And I thought the Rangers would really respond to him. And it's taken some time for Mike Sullivan to find out, what he's got there and how to make it work, because it really hasn't worked, especially at home through the first third of the season.
Yeah, no, it hasn't at all. That's totally fair. Scott Burnside joins us talking all things NHL. Scotty, we're almost at December, for goodness sakes. American Thanksgiving a little bit later. Everybody's jumbled up. There's not a lot of separation because there's been so many overtime points this year. Like if you look in the East, and you've got 2 teams who aren't 2 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Right. And that's Buffalo. And Buffalo actually has 2 games in hand on Boston, who's currently in 8th. So, if they win one of them, well, then they're only 2 points out. So it is, you go to the West, there's a little bit more separation for sure. There's 4 teams who are 7 points out or more, and that's St. Louis, Vancouver, Calgary, and Nashville. And I don't know if any of those teams will turn it around or not. Like Vancouver's already said, they're looking to trade some players. The Calgary Flames, we know Rasmus Anderson's getting dealt for sure. The Preds, you had mentioned them, a surprise. What do you think the Blues do if you're Doug Armstrong?
Yeah, there's another team that I really thought was poised to, I didn't think they were going to win the Central Division. Listen, that's home to some of the best teams in the NHL, and it's such a competitive group in the Central. I really did like the Blues. You go back to last spring, and they're a second or two from eliminating Winnipeg in the first round, and they let that game get away from them. But they were, again, that a team that continued to get better and better, and were hard to play against. And I like some of the moves that Doug Armstrong made in the offseason. And I really like that team to be really in the mix, and they really aren't. And, the problem, and it's a problem that, I'm sure it's the same in Edmonton, where no one should be talking about a coaching change in Edmonton. And I know they talk about it in Toronto, Craig Berube, what's going to happen with Craig. In my mind, Brad Treliving is not going to fire Craig Berube, right? He just got there. He won a round. So, it's not happening. Same thing in St. Louis, right? I mean, Doug Armstrong may not be happy with what his team is doing on the ice, and their goal differential's horrific, and, but they're not making a coaching change. So it goes back to this idea. Well, what do you can you affect players' ice time? Yes, coach can do that. And then as a GM, do you make a trade? Do you try and find, what do you do? Do you move on from pieces that you thought were going, the guy who's been, hasn't had a great start, Pavel Buchnevich in St. Louis. So how do you make those kinds of moves that could trigger the play that you expect from your roster? Right? This is not a team that, you expect it to be a lottery team. So this team should be better. And I think it's reasonable to expect that they will get better at some point. But you're right, that they're, to me, one of the greatest underachieving teams as we approach the first third of this season. And it's got to be eating Doug Armstrong alive, because he is absolutely unafraid to make a move. He will do it. Yeah. And that, to me, that's a team that you really have to watch. I know Vancouver's in the headlines, especially in Canada, given their disappointments and what's going to happen with Quinn Hughes down the road. St. Louis is really fascinating to me, because Doug Armstrong is completely unafraid to swing for the fences if he thinks he can turn this team around. And the history has shown, of course, when you go back to 18-19, dead last in the NHL in early January of 19, and ended up holding up a cup in June of that year. So we'll see.
Binnington, because in Edmonton, maybe trade Skinner for Binnington. Binnington had a brutal year this year. I know 4 Nations, he showed up huge, and I get it. But that was 4 games. What do you make of Binnington? And if you were Edmonton and you could make the money work, would you do Binnington for Skinner?
Yeah, yes, I would if you could make that work. And I think, again, it goes back to, again, I don't worry about Jordan Binnington. If you're thinking about the Canadian Olympic team, guys locked into a spot there. I don't know if he's your starter, and when the tournament opens in early February, my guess is he's likely your starter in the first elimination game. And to me, he's earned that in many ways, given his play at 4 Nations. He may be the single of all the players who took part for those 4 teams in Montreal and Boston. He is the player who made the greatest impact. And regardless of how difficult it's been for him through the first third of this season, I don't think any of that matters. I'm projecting here, but I'm guessing for Team Canada, they probably wish he was better. Certainly Doug Armstrong wishes he was better in St. Louis, but I don't think it really impacts how they view him in that sort of the pantheon of Canadian goaltenders or guys that might be on the team. To that point, if he came to Edmonton knowing what he has accomplished in the past and was so good in that incredible run from last place into the playoffs and then to a Stanley Cup in 19, again, his play in the moment with the entire hockey world watching in Montreal and Boston was incredible. So he's someone who has that. Now, have you not seen similar levels of play from Stuart Skinner over the last 2 playoff years?
Yep.
Yes, you have. So, again, how big an improvement, how big a jump up would Jordan Binnington be to an Edmonton Oilers team who's also received in that moment goaltending from Stuart Skinner lots of times over the last 2 playoff years?
Yeah. Well, it is one. I think Edmonton, something might have to change mentally. And maybe if you just see a different goalie, that might do it. It's not all on the goalie, because if the defense doesn't play better, it's not going to matter. So I've always thought a Pickard trade or upgrade there would be probably the first step that they make. But who knows? Maybe Bowman's going to look at everything he has to. He's the GM. There's the Tristan Jarry name. There's Binnington. There's lots of names out there right now. Whether or not any of them come to fruition, we will see. Always good to catch up with you, Scotty, my man. Great talking to you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime, my friend.
That is Scott Burnside, longtime NHL reporter. Of course, just put in the Hall of Fame wing recently. So that was awesome for him. We'll take a quick break. And we get to 5 questions next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Gene Principe, bringing season's heatings from Legacy Heating and Cooling. For Yuletide comfort you'll love this Christmas. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
There's no better way to fix your furnace. You just.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
They're professional, never rude, doll. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, no interest and no prints of payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
The basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Aloha, Edmonton. It's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 12th from 9 to 5. Century Vision Care, Edmonton's biggest Maui gym retailer, is bringing the island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages all day. Same-day eye exam appointments are available, and they direct bill most insurance plans, but spots are filling fast. Get ahead on your Christmas list and treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off a $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Horses of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
350. Welcome back, Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And guess what? Black Friday's and Black Friday, but guess what? You can get great deals starting right now. Check it out at The Brick or thebrick.com. You can get up to 50% off mattresses, $1,000 off leather sofas, chairs, or recliners. Woo! Sit in style right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1, Battle of the Bags. Which loss was worse, last night to the Stars or earlier this month to the Avalanche?
Jesus, it's like saying who's balder. I'm going to go with the Dallas game because you had the first one. You should have learned by it by now, 17 days later. And you had a little bit of momentum from your last 2 games and then completely wasted it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Avalanche was worse, just because, where was the pushback? There really wasn't much. You just kind of settled in, let them continue to run up the score. I saw some goals from the Oilers last night, so we're not agreeing. I'll take the Avalanche as the worst one. Not ideal, though, for this club. Question number 2 for you. Will you be keeping Connor Clattenburg in the lineup for the Oilers? And if so, how much longer do you think?
Well, you know what? The Oilers are at the point now where you play the guys who deserve to play. And if others aren't going to match his intensity, then they don't play. So, I thought that with Kapanen and Nugent Hopkins coming back, that maybe there was a chance he comes out of the lineup, and not just because he scored a goal, which is obviously nice. He's got a goal in 2 games. He hit everything that moved last night. He was engaged. He's not making any mistakes defensively. I'm keeping him in the lineup until others outperform him.
I'm with you. I mean, there's too many passengers on this team right now. Connor Clattenburg is one of the guys doing things. And then, to chip in with a goal as well, that's an encouraging sign for me. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'm not taking 64 out of the lineup. There's other guys that can sit up in the press box for a couple more games, in my opinion. Question number 3 for you. I think we could all agree that at some point Stan Bowman is going to make a move for the Oilers. Do you think these losses alter that timeline and maybe make it happen faster?
It's a fine balance to be an NHL GM. You don't want to overreact. You can't. You have to, and that's hard because we're all emotional human beings. But I think you have to have a plan and stick with what your plan is. And now that doesn't mean you can't divert a little bit and say, geez, maybe I got to try to speed this up. But keep in mind, opposing teams know what's going on. They're gonna see if they can take advantage of your desperation. And it's the hardest thing, but once you trade from a position of desperation, rarely do you win the trade or even break even on the trade.
Yeah, I mean, you're trading from a weaker position right now if you have to do something. And to me, I think the solution comes from inside the room. These guys have to figure it out for sure. I'm not opposed to a little bit of a shakeup, though. Maybe something just to try to send a message. I don't know what that would be, but I think it might put a little more urgency for Bowman to make a bit of a change. Looking at the money lines only at PlayAlberta.ca, who are your picks to win tomorrow's games?
Well, I'll take the Lions. Did you see their veteran centers coming out of retirement?
Frank Ragnow, yeah.
Ooh, that could be huge news for them, man. I will take the Lions. And the Cowboys, you got like really good odds for them, even though they're at home, to win that game. Now, the Chiefs defense has kind of been holding them in. So, but I don't know, like the Cowboys looked really good last week, I know, in that second half against the Eagles, but they did look awful in the first half against Eagles. So which team? I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. And then I'll take the Ravens, even though since he's a huge underdog on the road, I'll still take the Ravens.
I'm so intrigued. You mentioned Frank Ragnow. Like the Lions have $23 million in cap space. I wonder if there was a thought that maybe he comes back and we should keep some cap space ready for him. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions at home to get the job done. I think that's quite the spark for them. I want to say the Cowboys shock us all, and you know what? Let's roll with it. Let's say the Bengals with Joe Burrow leading them back into this one just gives them that boost that they need, and I think the over-under is 52.5. Let's hammer that over and get some points in that game. Final question for you. It is National Cake Day. So what is one cake you would say is the top of your list? And I don't know if you'd hate it, but one you're not quite into.
Well, you know what? I'm a very simple guy when it comes to cake. I'm going to go now. Is cheesecake considered cake? I'm going to say no in this case, and I love cheesecake, but I'm going to say chocolate cake for sure. Traditional chocolate cake with homemade chocolate icing all day long. Cakes I'm not really into anymore. This might surprise some people. I don't really like the DQ cake. Sorry. Can't do it anymore.
Ice cream cake.
Yeah. Not into it.
For me, similar to you, like just a double chocolate cake would be probably top of the list. I'd have red velvet in there as well. And cake that's not for me, Black Forest cake.
Oh, you don't like the cherries?
Don't like the cherry. I'll listen, it's cake. I'll take it, but I would never want it for my birthday.
Oh, well, no, that's fair. I can understand it. You know what's an underrated cake I don't eat often enough? And maybe that's why I like it, but carrot cake.
Yeah.
Good carrot cake icing. Oh, buddy. It's good.
The icing can actually, that can be the game changer.
Oh, 100% it can be the game changer. Yeah, I agree. I don't really love just like plain like white cake. Like, vanilla cakes. It's kind of boring. I don't really like it. Nope. So, but like I used to be a huge fan of the ice cream cakes, but I just can't get into it. I will say this, actually, you know what? Cake used to be the worst. And maybe I haven't had one in years, but the Safeway cake, that icing, I don't know what was on it, but it was awful. Right? Like it was just that blue and there was so much fake stuff in there. I'm like, am I just eating chemicals? But yeah.
The sheet cake?
Yeah, that's what it was. And like, if you ever got a corner piece at a house party, you're like, oh my God, like this is not good. Like, and I love sweets, but I would there was too much of it and I would scrape it off in the corner. It just wasn't like there was nothing real in that icing. That's all I know. Like, it wasn't eggs. I don't know what it was made of, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. So we'll see. Coming up, business of sport. Whew, we got a classy edition. It looks like a sweater boy today, Rich Winter. He's got the sweater on. He's got the tie. He's looking real sharp. I don't know what it might come from a big meeting. Who knows? We'll find out with that. And also the second time around. Sometimes it works. Ask the Colorado Avalanche. We will discuss that in the business of sports and how what you learned from the first time, maybe can you bring it around the second time, even though it probably shouldn't have left the first time because it was actually successful. We'll discuss that in the business of sport and the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first we get to the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You know what's coming. Stop delaying. You don't want to be sliding through the intersection, cursing, maybe screaming out of fear because you got no winter tires on. Get your winter tires 15% off right now till the end of the month. FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. You got the Red Wings hosting the Preds, Flames in Tampa, Panthers and the Flyers. Bruins meet the Islanders, Penguins host the Sabres, Jets take on the Caps, Maple Leafs in Columbus, Avs will host the Sharks, Now taking on the Canadians, Golden Knights host the Sens, and the Canucks in Anaheim. In the association, Toronto Raptors are in action this evening, taking on the Pacers. Tip-off 5:30 from Toronto. One game underway right now. Celtics and Pistons tied at 35 with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. In the AJ Fort Mac hosting Lloyd. Drumheller takes on Devon and Olds up against Calgary. In the BCHL, you got the Crusaders hosting Salmon Arm. That one gets going at 7 in the PWHL. Ottawa up against Vancouver. That starts at 5. With the win this afternoon, Team Holman is heading to the best-of-3 final at the 2025 Canadian Curling Trials. They'll take on the winner of a matchup between Team Black and Team Anderson. And on the men's side, Team Jacobs clinching top spot. They'll advance to the best-of-3 final. News from the NFL, 4-time Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement to return to the Detroit Lions. He announced his retirement back in June at the age of 29. He is now eligible to return to the lineup immediately. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, it's another edition of the Business of Sport with longtime NHL player agent Rich Winter. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You know your neighbor, right? The one who watches your house when you're away, who keeps their yard looking nice, who says hello every day. That's us. GS Construction. Now, we probably don't live right beside you, but we do live in your community. And when it comes to water and wastewater infrastructure, moving along smoothly, we're the ones doing that work. GS Construction has been doing it since 1974, over 50 years. So you could say we are your neighbors who wear hard hats and work boots. To find out what your neighbors do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Sports 1440 is proud to support the Camrose Kinsman Radio Auction. Tune in Friday from 6 p.m. to midnight, live from the Bailey Theater on our sister station, New Country 98.1. All proceeds go to the Kinsman Club of Camrose to serve the community's greatest needs. For more, visit sports1440.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel, Jasmine
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports
Duo Award winner, platinum-selling recording artist, and top 10 hitmaker. Celebrate the new year in Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your
Gregor Show
spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2020
Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 1440.
Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. People often ask me, hey, Rick, do people actually buy RVs from No Bull in the fall?
Fair question, Rick. Why would you want to buy an RV just when it's time to put it away in storage for the winter?
And I have the answer, Bob, because the RVs at No Bull are used. And that means every RV on our lot is a one-of-a-kind. So when you're looking for a used RV, you can be really picky.
One-of-a-kind means you don't have to compromise on what you're looking for.
That's right, Bob. But it also means when you find the right one, you grab it up before someone else does. Sometimes that's in the fall, but No Bull makes it easy because when you buy your used RV now, we include winterization and winter storage for free. We even get it prepared for spring camping at no charge to you. All you need to do is be ready for the great outdoors come next spring. When you think of it that way, the fall might be the best time to get your RV.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram is always brought to you by playalberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. Make a $50 deposit. Guess what? They'll match it. So 2-for-1, playalberta.ca. And remember, it's new now. The Jason Gregor Show daily specials will get you a little bit of added boosts. And so Oilers fans, I know you're a little frustrated right now. So misery loves company. So one play today has both the Canucks and the Flames losing tonight to Flames to Tampa Bay, Canucks to the Ducks. Check it out, playalberta.ca.
Well, out there one. That's them going out on a limb.
Well, hey, you know what? It is the Ducks got to win by 2. So.
Well, that shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Well, hey, you never know. We'll see. Rich Winter is joining us here in the business of sport. He's got his sweater on, tie, suit, jacket. Yeah, you have a photo shoot earlier today. What's happening?
No, I just have this theory every once in a while that I'm 10% smarter when I put a suit on and go to the office. And I had 2 conference calls today. Both were canceled, so I was kind of disappointed. I didn't get that rousing from them. So I sat in my office to work by myself. But
did you feel 10%
I think
smarter?
I think I killed it.
You think you killed it?
Killed it. Yeah. A couple of documents, boy, those guys are going to be so surprised.
It's like there's no spelling errors. This was unreal. You didn't have to use spell check today, did you?
No, I was working on the AI prompt, the ChatGPT prompt that helps you screw up your document a little bit so it doesn't look like ChatGPT. Great prompt.
Oh, yeah.
Rich didn't write that.
An AI prompt that tells you how not to be an AI prompt.
It's
oh
crazy,
my God, that is funny. I want to chat. We are going to talk about because it's a business of sport. We're going to talk about a lot of different businesses. And we're going to talk a little lacrosse league later on today. But I do want to start with as an agent here, and because obviously you've had tons of European players over the years, right? And you also now have some young guys that you send to Europe. But each league has different rules, Rich, right? Like there's some, and you've been in the industry long enough to know that some places are better than others. And so how do you kind of keep track of, and is there a rule or like payments that's different from one league to the next that's kind of obvious to remember?
Well, I got an interesting one today because I sent a player his bill last week and he goes, "Hey, aren't the team paying my agent fees like they did last year?" And I said, "I'm sorry, new Swedish rule." Oh, he was disappointed. But no.
So in Sweden, they had a team that would pay your agent
teams,
fee.
but teams quite often pay our fees. Yeah.
Like in Europe.
Yeah. It's starting to change now where they're getting some of it's under the table still. There's some places where the rules aren't that, but the Swedes are pretty serious. Like there's a million Swedish kron fine if you pay me $1. So they're kind of paying attention to that now. But no, I mean it's really the rules aren't dramatically different. Like you'd be surprised they have a CBA in Russia, they have a salary cap, and a lot of it gets modeled after here, right? And ultimately, it's really not a whole lot different. It's just you're trying to evaluate, from my perspective, where's the right development opportunity. I grew up in Drumheller, so one of my young clients is the only player ever signed to an NHL contract out of Drumheller. And Talon Boyko, he's the fifth goalie in New York, and we just sent him to Finland. And he's sort of like, they signed Spencer Martin, right? So they're looking for a third, and it's really Grand and him fighting out for 4. But Grand has a little bit of head start because of his play. I mean, historically, I don't know that he's any better now. So we just said no to an East Coast League assignment, and so the poor kid from Drumheller has never been west of Hartford or east of Hartford is now going to be playing in Finland. But
it's a great life experience.
Well, it's a great life experience, but it's also great goaltending development, right? Good goalie coach there. I mean, and we do a lot. I don't follow the Finnish league that I could barely say the name Kalpa, or it's just west of Helsinki. But he, talked to Jarmo Kekalainen and did a little research. Then Talon talked to one of his teammates, said it's a university city, small town. And really, it's like at this stage, you've probably heard me say this before, but I always think there's two things in every contract. There's money and opportunity. I think you always chase opportunity because it either leads to cups for more money, right? And in this case, you might get a little more money, but more importantly, he's going to compete for the number 1 job. They've got a college goaltender there. They won the championship, but last year's pretty good. Tiring out this year. Their second guy was just a kid. They didn't play them all. They're burning the other guy out. He might come out of there with winning the number 1 job, maybe get a shot at going to the World Championships with Team Canada, sort of AKA Mark Giordano, and then who knows where it goes. But such a great kid, so those are the kind of things that, you can imagine. A kid's never been past, Hartford, and he's going, Finland, like, so what is the food like, I said, when you first go to Europe, it's really challenging, especially if you're going alone, because everything's different. Doesn't seem different after you're there for a while. Light switches are different. The toilet seats, everything flushes different. You go to the grocery store, it looks like Spam. I don't know what it is. So I got it, didn't like it. And hot dogs are different. It's just, I think it's kind of unsettling. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think more of
So how do you help then for players when it's like, do you send them like an email with here's things to do to make the transition easier, having had so many guys do it?
Well, it's not very difficult because they provide apartments, fully furnished. They provide a car, in this case, if he wants one, because it's such a small town, he's only a 4-minute walk from the arena. He may not even want to bother. They talk to a few of their friends. They're hockey players. So it's really, once you catapult or parachute them into that spot, it's a dressing room.
Yeah.
It's an ice sheet.
Mm-hmm.
There's 5 guys in front of me. 2 are screening me. I got to talk to them. I don't understand their language. So those kind of things are a problem. But the Finns will speak,
the Finns speak really good English.
Well, not really good English. They speak English, but it's, I still can't understand Esa Tikkanen.
Wow. Okay. But Tikkanese is a little different.
Well, but it's like, I think with the European people don't understand. It's like the guys who are married, it takes them a long time to learn English, right? Because the guys who are single, they're chasing Canadian girls, so they gotta be able to communicate. So and plus they're speaking all the time. You get a guy. Dom Hasek still has a really bad accent, good accent, bad accent. But it's because he'd go home and speak Czech to his kids, Czech to his wife. Half the time at the rink he's speaking Czech, and then he'd speak a little bit of English. Even though he's been here for a long time. So,
but I think a lot of that has to do, like I thought I read somewhere about your accent that once you're to the age of 13, wherever you grew up to that point, that's the accent you're going to have. Now you can move away and then live, because I still have cousins who've lived, they're Brits and they moved back here. And the 2 youngest ones definitely have a stronger accent still than their older siblings, just because they didn't come back until they're I think they were 13
It's
or 14.
funny you say that, because I've got players that I think came over 18, 19, 20, perfect English.
No, they can speak English.
No,
but
no
accent.
accent. What's
no accent.
Richard Smellick, you went and dropped your dog off to his compound there. He's bought a little dog training business. You would know if he came from Edmonton, Calgary, New York. Well, New York probably, but so no, it just depends on. Some guys work at it harder too.
Well, it's like anything,
and
right?
it depends on the team, because you get a guy.
Some people care. Like some people some guys like, I'm an introvert. I don't need to say much.
Oh, so they don't learn to speak too much because they're quiet.
But learning Finnish is hard. I've talked to Finns say, man, like if you try to learn our language, it's a tough language to learn.
Yeah, I like Czech and Slovak. They're fairly easy because it's phonetic, right?
Yes.
So J sounds like Y, and that's the only difference. Everything else kind of sounds the same. So once you figure that out, and then the C's got a chika over the top, it's pronounced CH. You got that figured out. You can at least go, that's where I'm going. Yeah, okay, turn left. So it's not so bad, but
the Finnish words, man, it's unbelievable.
It's like Aikanainen.
Oh God, yeah, it's long words, and it is it's vowel city. They love their vowels.
A A lot of them. Yeah,
there's a lot of
no need to
vowels.
buy a vowel in the Finnish version.
So when you turn down an assignment to the ECHL, does the player just sit in limbo until that point, or do you turn it down knowing you've got the other option first?
No, we didn't have another option. Like I remember I said to Ryan Martin, the assistant GM there, we would get along and know with very well and know him for a long time. And I said, it's not, they want to keep him in the East because if they have an injury, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I get why.
But
a
I'm
lot
going
of the goalies have actually
but I'm going like, he said to me all summer, look, you don't have any arbitration rights. You know, this is kind of the deal. And I said, you don't have any assignment rights. So you know what? We got to find a different deal. So to Ryan's credit, he talked to his scouts. They found this opportunity in Finland. I didn't find it.
Okay.
And it was a really good one. In fact, Ryan at the end was saying, geez, this was a really good idea. This is going to be great for talent, And I'm like, yeah, it's worked out well. So, sometimes the easy thing in hockey is just to do whatever they tell you to do, right? No, I don't want to do that. It's not good for my development.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Giordano went to Russia at 23. Just wasn't good for his development. We didn't think to take the risk of playing for Mike Keenan and maybe playing 3 minutes a night or 35 minutes a night. We don't know. Probably would have been closer to 30, but he, worked out pretty well for Gio. And, it'll be interesting. Tal's only 23. So, we'll see. He's a big goalie, 6'5", good structure. I think he's going to come back, prove them wrong, and come back and compete for that number 2 job next year.
Really? Okay. And how old is he?
23.
23. Well, goaltenders historically.
Yeah. Dom didn't even show up till he was 25.
Yeah. Like there's lots of goalies. Like if you're in the league and you're established under the age of 22, like that's pretty much an outlier.
I think what happens too is Steve Valiquette always talks about this is that, goalies, there's so many expectations, especially if they're drafting the first, second. Right. They expect them to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And the odd exception is Vasilevsky or, some of them. But generally, if you look at most of the first round, second round pick goaltenders end up performing on their second team. Not that different from coaches, right? Because same expectations on the coach. And if you look at a guy like in Chicago, what's his nuts there? Blashill's had 3 or 4 different stops. Now he's a good coach. Paul Maurice is a great coach. He was pretty good when he was young, but so it's like when there's certain players, there's more expectations on, and they don't deliver quickly. It takes a goaltender a little bit of time to learn his position, right?
Yeah. Before we go, this is breaking news, but this is pretty big for all of you Jays fans. The Toronto Blue Jays, John Hyman reporting, Dylan Cease, the pitcher, has signed 7 years, $210 million with the Toronto Blue Jays.
How does he live on that?
Well, it's tough, Rich.
The taxes and stuff. Man, it's terrible. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because what is the new Japanese pitcher who's coming over? I can't pronounce his name, but who's saying no to the Dodgers. He wants to play. He wants to beat the Dodgers. So I was thinking he might land in the next couple of days in Toronto.
Wow. So there you go. That is big news just coming down the business of sport. The Jays are in the business right now of trying to win, and they've just got Dylan Cease to the Jays, 7 years, $210 million. We can all do the math on that. That is
some of us can.
Some of us can. I would say 30 mil a year. Pretty. You know what? He won't be missing.
Take a look at the Ilya Brizgalov interview of a bunch of guys at the LA All-Star game when he asked them a math question. Oh, maybe those guys couldn't have answered.
Yeah.
Got to see that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting one. So we'll return and we'll continue on the business of sport. We're going to talk a little business of sport coming back to Edmonton on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can noodle at oodle-noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle-noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle-noodle.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Snow, colder weather, shorter days. November is officially here. But it doesn't all have to be bad news. If you're thinking about a new or used vehicle, now is the time. Massive savings, 0% financing, and don't forget tires at cost. Yes, that's right. We sell winter tires at cost. There's lots to celebrate in November. And as always, we'd like to thank all of those who have fought and served for our country. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off, and with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theatre on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Wednesday afternoon. Of course, Oiler fans, you get a few-day break. Your frustration level's at an all-time high. There's no more games until Saturday afternoon. Will there be a trade? Maybe there'll be lots of talks about it. We actually got some interesting trade offers. We'll get to those because that is the business of sport for sure. It's the business of sport. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Jason Gregor, Rich Winter with you. And a sport that was in Edmonton that I thought was growing a lot up until 2015. And then unfortunately, I relocated to Saskatchewan. The Edmonton Rush had won the league title. Then they'd built a really good team. General manager Derek Keenan had done a fantastic job over the years. The first few years, like any expansion team, were tough, and then they'd become a very competitive team. And even after leaving Edmonton, they went to the final 4 times over the next 5 or 6 seasons. So that group of players, they continued on to be very good. And I think there's been a void in the lacrosse community since they left. I have a guest in studio, former NLL player, actually did play for the Edmonton Rush. Chris Stashnick joins us. And Chris, you're kind of working as a broker between the league and the OEG. There's a game that the OEG are hosting here, January 16th. It's the Swarm and the Roughnecks that are playing. But obviously, you're super passionate about lacrosse. And this is something that's kind of been in the works here for quite many years, basically since the Rush left.
Yeah, essentially in 2018, we had approached OEG about bringing a team back here now that they're in their new building. Reached out to the league. League was quite interested in talking to the Oilers and getting something going. And over the course of the next year and a half, we met with the Oilers 2 or 3 times. At the time, Tom Anselmo was running the OEG, and him and Stu Ballantyne were fairly instrumental in getting the meetings progressing forward. And we were to the point where we were about to start doing due diligence with the league and seeing what the costs were for a team. And of course, then COVID hit on March 11th. And that obviously pumped the brakes on everything. And for the next 2 years, like everyone else, we just kind of tried to get through that. And then starting in 22, 23, we started talking with OEG again, and Stu Ballantyne now in charge. And the focus had changed, where it was now not going to be about necessarily getting a team or a franchise right away. They wanted to run a litmus test on a game. So we worked with Brett Fruit, who's the commissioner now, on getting a regular season game here and getting a feel for if there's a fan base here to bring another franchise back.
Well, I think there was a fan base. I think that proved by the ticket sales and everything the first time that, you build a team. And it's hard when you have a one game, the Swarm will come here. Calgary's is going to be coming into town as well. 2 teams. But for anybody out there who's a lacrosse fan, if you want to have lacrosse, here's your opportunity to kind of show the league, show the OEG that you'd support them, is essentially what this is.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We need to get people in the seats, and we need to show ownership and the powers that be that, it's a viable product here, and that we can be more successful than we were when the last ownership group had a team playing out of Rexall. In those 10 years, over that span, we averaged 8,100 fans. So there's definitely a core group of fans here that have been asking for it, but we need to get more of the public out to the game and see what it's all about.
So when you look at the business of lacrosse, and you played in the league many years ago, and you look at it now, 14-team league, NHL ownership groups in certain they seem to be like Calgary. Obviously, if I just look at Calgary's numbers since they were taken over by the Flames, their ticket base has increased significantly, right? Vancouver just took over the Vancouver team. There's other teams in the league that are owned by that. Is that kind of the model you think the NLL is going to? Not 100%, but in a lot of their markets, is that going to be the plan?
I think that model makes the most sense, because for a third-party team to come in and lease the building and pay those dollars, it makes it real tough to justify having a team. With OEG owning the building and having, the marketing team and the sales team and everyone under the same roof, I think it makes a lot of sense. The Buffalo Bandits, who are the flagship of the league, sell out almost every game, 18,000 plus. I'm sure they outdraw the Sabres every season.
Yeah. And now in the NLL, Rich, from your side, they're obviously the pay scale is not like it is in the NHL. It's more on the CFL level, even obviously a little bit lower from the high end guys. But the leagues expand. There's more games now. From even when you played, if you look at how the leagues run now, there's more opportunities for players. You can make more money. Number one, you have to train more. The season's a little bit longer, but even in 15 years. From when Edmonton first got their, I guess it's 20 years now, from when Edmonton first got their team, there's been a significant amount of growth in pay for the players, in just facilities and everything else that goes into it. The league overall seems to be in a better spot now than when Edmonton came in.
I think there's more money. I think they have more sponsorship deals. It definitely in the States is where they're trying to promote it, obviously because of the population base. I don't know if the money's, it's not a lot of guys are using it as a full-time career. They're still having to work side jobs. That's why you see a lot of firefighters and teachers and, salespeople that are in that kind of position. I don't think it's not right there for a full-time job yet.
No.
What OEG had expressed to me through this process is that if the league it moves from a winter league to more of a summer league, they feel almost every NHL team would probably get that, because they need to fill their buildings on Fridays and Saturday nights in the summer. And with, Oilers here and Oil Kings, those are tough dates to find room for lacrosse. And being in the league previously, Sunday afternoon games don't draw well, and you're not getting a lot on Thursday. So you need those Friday and Saturday night games to draw the fans in.
Do you think, feasibly, when you consider field lacrosse, and even some of the, the other summer box lacrosse leagues, could the NLL go to become a May to September league? Do you think that's feasible?
I think with specifically the PLL, which is the American Field League, I think those two would compete directly. And I suspect the National Lacrosse League would win out just because it's in my opinion, a better product.
Okay.
As far as the summer league goes, right now what happens is the players that are playing in the National Lacrosse League in the winter go back to their club teams, get paid a bunch of money to play in the summer. So summer isn't necessarily a full amateur game anymore.
Yeah.
I think if you move the program to the summer game, the Canadian Lacrosse League would become a pure amateur game again, and then you could pull players up from there.
Oh, so it'd almost be like a development league a little bit more.
That's the way I see it. I don't know if
Right.
anyone else does, but yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so in theory, from an outsider perspective, that might make it better because now you have a little bit more of a feeder system that's direct during that time, right? That they're going on.
Yeah, I think so. I think it also gets more players involved and stay in the game longer because lacrosse is still a fringe sport from the minor sport level. It's getting bigger, but typically markets that have a team, we see a lot of growth in minor lacrosse. As you probably don't know, but once Edmonton Rush left,
Yeah, the numbers have
the
gone.
numbers have dropped substantially because
Yes.
kids aren't seeing guys that they want to be like.
Yes. Oh no, I saw it literally just on our show in 2 or 3 years, like from 2015 till 2018, we'd still get fair amount of text. The Rush were playing, obviously they're in Saskatchewan, they're watching it, and then it just slowly went away because those kids got older. Now they're not watching, and there's something to be said about young kids don't think of the impossible. They look at it as possible. I'm 8 years old. I go to a lacrosse game. Well, I can play there.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's what you should have as kids, right? And so when you don't have that, it's no different than even in a small level when, kids in small markets like in Prince Albert, they're like, I can play in the WHL because they get to go to those games, right? And sure, they see the NHL, but the WHL is their first step.
Right.
And that's what they dream of. And so, yeah, I could see how it's hurt lacrosse. Have you felt it's hurt? So the grassroots level, but what about like at the junior and the senior level? Has that impacted in Alberta without having the Rush?
Well, I can say we're probably almost on the tail end of feeling what the Rush's impact was when they were here. So they left in 2015. Obviously, some of the players who were on that team decided to relocate to Edmonton, whether they met a girl or they got a job here full time. And, we still have 3 or 4 players that are here. From 2016 to 2018, the Edmonton senior minors won 3 national championships because we had a bunch of the Rush players sticking around here.
Okay.
This game specifically coming up, we got 2 junior minors kids who graduated a few years ago who are playing for the Roughnecks.
Right.
Right. So Matthew Gauthier and Bennett are both, they were products of watching the Edmonton Rush play as they were growing up, and now they're in the league.
Okay.
But it's a vicious cycle because if there's no game here, there's no product in the stores, kids aren't exposed to it. It's not easy to find a stick or any of the equipment, right? So it just gets passed by, right? You got to get a team back here.
And so looking at it, because I know the CBA was signed recently and it's signed through the 29-30 season. You mentioned conversations with the OEG, and I'm sure when you talk to others, if you talk to the players, would they have an interest in a summer league? Like how realistic, like, is this CFL talk about an expansion team in the Maritimes, which has been going on for 15 years and has never even got one step closer? Like, how realistic do you think this would be, Chris?
It might be a bit pie in the sky.
Okay.
I mean, when I envision something like that, I see it turning to a 40 game schedule with 20 home, 20 away. Players can now make money where that's their career. They can train all day and do it properly. Now, I don't know where the league is on this or where anyone else is, but to me, logistically, it makes sense to turn it into a full-time league. Otherwise, I think maybe we're getting 1 or 2 more games a year and, the money's not really going to come in for the players.
It'd be interesting summertime. You could have a lot of really interesting outdoor game options, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's some really
like the lacrosse. We've got texts already talking about. There's so many people texting that they just missed the Rush. Like the game itself is an incredibly entertaining game. It's fast. It's got goals. It fights. And when they fight in lacrosse, like it's a legit scrap, man. Like there's guys are playing, you're on the turf and then they throw in haymakers. Like it's physical. It's rough. Like, I remember a lot of people would watch it like, oh my God, you're able to slash, right? But it's one hand on your stick and the lacrosse stick is way lighter compared to a hockey stick. And now it would still hurt. There's the reason why the forwards wear way much more like arm protection than the defenders do, because the defenders basically just play defense. But having been in the league and being a lacrosse guy, Chris, growing up, and then seeing it in Edmonton come to fruition and play there, it's obviously had to be disappointing. But even, if we get away from the pie in the sky, but just looking at the OEG and this test market game that's coming up on the 16th, like what are the things that need to be where you think that this can further the conversation?
Well, I mean, our goal is to get to 10,000 seats, I think at that point we can have a conversation. So currently we only have the lower bowl opened up for sale,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's what the Oil Kings do, and you'd rather have a sold out lower bowl than half the lower bowl and half the upper bowl. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I think break even is probably somewhere around 7,500 seats for a game. So I don't know what OEG is looking for as far as financial numbers to say this makes sense. I think the league would also have to really contribute and help them, not help them out with the franchise, but they'd have to entice OEG and make it worth their while to work with them.
Because right now there's 14 teams in the NLL, all in one division, right? 8 make it, 6 don't make it, which is, it's good. It's a competitive league. There's kind of like some, you mentioned Buffalo, like there's like the marquee franchise, and it's funny in the NHL, in the NBA, in MLB, like there's the top franchises, Rich, and you deal with them, and then there's the bottom feeder friend. It doesn't matter.
And this year they flipped.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. But you know what? Like, there's no league that has every team that's always on great. You got billionaire owners in these pro leagues, so you know what? They've got money. They're not in the risk of going out of business per se, but you're never going to have your entire league where everybody's even, because some guys are making smarter decisions. Rich, we talk about who's scouting better, who's using AI, who's not using AI, and everything in between. Buffalo is the marquee franchise for sure. Yeah. What's the gap, do you find, between the marquees and the bottom in the NLL?
Well, probably 12,000 fan difference.
Okay.
Right? I would say Buffalo's up at 18, and then you have your Calgary, your Colorado, Vancouver starting to get close to 9 or 10 a game. And then, we've had a few that have moved. We have a new Albany moved to Ottawa. So they're probably drawing like 6,000, 5,500 is what I'm guessing.
So that's obviously, from a business standpoint, there's a difference, right? Like Buffalo can the players are going to want to go there. That's no different, Rich, in any sport, right? You're an agent and your player comes to you and says, hey, I can make the exact same money playing on team A than I can on team B, but team B has 18,000 fans and the place is an unreal atmosphere every night. And I know that opportunity, if opportunity's even, you're going to go for atmosphere for sure.
Unless it's a beach involved, and then you might take the lesser crowd. The taxes are lower. You might consider that.
Yeah, small.
And your wife's from that area,
Yeah.
So it might not be Buffalo.
Now, what about the travel? Snash, has travel improved in the NLL?
I think it's the same. Teams still fly in the day before, they practice that evening, play the game the next night, then fly out the day after. There's
the odd time when it's back to back where they got to fly in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still very similar to what it was when you and I were involved with the league, where they're still traveling the day before. They're only allowed to practice once a week because some markets have players living in it, some don't.
Yeah. So the players can practice without the coach.
Right.
That's right.
correct.
Which a lot of teams, I find, do.
They do. They have captains practices quite a bit.
Yeah. Which is, you can have one coach who's not a head coach running the practice. You do the exact same drills. The coach is on a video conference, sitting on the bench now with technology. It's it's pretty easy way to do it. Coach isn't here, but I can hear him somehow.
Why is he ragging me? How does he ragging me from where he is?
Yeah, so it definitely makes sense. Chris Stastnyk joins us. Basically, the NLL, they're OEG and the NLL, they're looking. They have a game on January 16th in Edmonton. For all the lacrosse fans, people are wondering how you can go. It's pretty easy. You can go to the Oilers website, go to the NLL website. I can just Google the Swarm and the Roughnecks game that's coming here January 16th, and you can get tickets. It's basically like a trial run again to see what the interest level is in lacrosse, because it was pretty high. I did the play-by-play for 10 years. I saw the crowds from the first years, and you saw it grow. Obviously, it helped as the team got more competitive, no question. I think the talent pool of lacrosse players, even from a decade ago, is probably bigger.
It is, and it's much better lacrosse now than when I played. It's much quicker. It's much more skilled. It's less physical, but it's a track
similar to hockey in a way.
Very similar to that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's an incredible product now to watch.
So the business of the NLL, when you talk to people in it, like, is it in a better state, do you think, overall? Like, when you look at it from, you need a good commissioner to run the league, and they've had a few different ones, and we can debate here whether or not, some guys are the right decision on. That happens all the time. But when you look at the overall kind of health of the league, do you feel the NLL's maybe more stable than it has been in a while?
I feel like it's moving in the right direction. I feel that Brett, who I think's been commissioner now for 3 or 4 years, I might be wrong, has really taken a pragmatic approach and focused back on getting the foundation strong, as opposed to just throwing teams in markets because someone wants a franchise. I think he's really looking to get quality ownership. He's really put a focus on the grassroots across North America. He's put a focus on getting it out to media. I don't think they're making a lot of money from the media, but I think they're really trying to get it more exposure. So I think he's really trying to build it from the foundation up and taking a pragmatic approach to putting franchises in cities.
Now, this hosting a game, and this has been on the docket for a few years. Obviously, there was a Panther game. I think there was the Panther Lacrosse Club. There was timelines, and it just didn't work out. How did they convince the Swarm to have a game here?
The Swarm doesn't draw great. They're one of the franchises that probably is in that 5,000 to 6,000 seat sales every game. So I think the interest for them was the fact that this would be their home gate, that they would be made whole financially.
Okay.
Including, that obviously travel and stuff's an issue. Most of the players are Canadian, so they'll be flying in from Toronto, the majority of them. But I think financially it had to make sense for them. And that's probably why they were open to doing this.
So, Chris, lastly, before we let you go, when you look at between now, it's got like 7 weeks between now and the 16th. How do you drum up the interest to get the lacrosse fan who's maybe watched lacrosse before, maybe is interested? Do you go to the grassroots level? Is there a real big push to get the young lacrosse leagues and teams knowing that this game is here? What's kind of the next steps to ensure you get to that 75 to 10,000 seat capacity in that game?
Yeah. So right now, all we've done is announce it. The league is going to be sending out and reaching out to every organization in Alberta, as far as schools go, minor lacrosse teams, offering them a promotion code to have the kids come to the game. We're also doing a promotion for first responders. That's already out. That code's out. And then OEG is going to start promoting the game a little heavier or more heavy before Christmas, trying to get the presents.
What about lacrosse, kind of like the growth? You mentioned that registration's down, but are there more lacrosse academies? That seems to be something in sports in a lot of groups. Like, is there more specialized lacrosse now in Edmonton or even across the country that you've seen that gets like the diehard lacrosse kids, playing more lacrosse, becoming better lacrosse players?
I can't speak across Canada. In Alberta, there's still a couple down in Calgary. We're down to one academy here. We still have Vimy Ridge. Jimmy Quinlan's still there. We haven't seen more academies just based on the numbers of the kids not registering, I think.
So bringing a team back would obviously help with registration.
Yep.
Because lacrosse it's not overly expensive to play. So what has to happen, you think, at the grassroots level for lacrosse to entice more kids to play? Because I'm a firm believer, having seen it, and there's so many hockey players I've talked to, the crossover from lacrosse to hockey can really help you. It's a different game, right? You're not in skate, but hand-eye coordination, spinning off, learning contact, all that stuff can be very beneficial. What's lacrosse need to do just at a grassroots level, do you feel, to become more enticing for kids to play? Because it's not expensive.
It's not. And that's been the challenge with hockey now going in year round. It used to be that you would get the hockey kids that would come and play. I think getting it into the schools is a big thing. If you can get it into the PE classes and kids get a stick in their hand and get to play, I think that makes a big difference. That'll get them out to local senior and junior games during the summer. But yeah, as far as academies, we don't have those. So I think in the schools is the biggest thing.
Awesome stuff, Chris. We'll help you guys out as much as you can moving forward. We look forward to seeing, selfishly, I think the NLL is an unreal league. I had so much fun covering the game. I didn't know much about lacrosse, to be honest, when I started doing the play-by-play, but I fell in love with the game. The people were great that I met along the way, including yourself and many others. But just the game itself, I became a huge fan of it. I still find myself watching lots of the games from a broadcaster's perspective, and I've done play-by-play for football, hockey, baseball, everything. Lacrosse was, for me, the most enjoyment I had because the game was so fast. And I actually felt it was like the easiest one to call because there was just so much action. You just had to keep up to the play. You didn't have to, wasn't a ton of downtime. You did get to slow down sometimes when they cross over center. Now you have a transition rush and the guy peels off and he sets it up and that gives you a little bit of time to set the play. But man, sometimes you go back and forth for, endless time. There's lots of goals and a few big hits and fights. And I loved it. So I'm looking forward to going to the game. I want to take my son. I've been talking to him. He's watched lacrosse with me. So anytime you see it live, it's different. Any sport's better live.
Yeah.
So
Except football.
Sorry.
Yeah. Except for it is pretty slow live here.
So tickets are starting at $29.50, and I think that's also an important thing. The price point has to be a lot lower than NHL pricing to get fans in the stands. That's the demographic we're looking at. So tickets in the lower bowl are starting at $29.50 base price and working their way up.
Oh, well, that's yeah.
Makes it economic because
That's-
there's all that money left over for beer.
That's very true. That's the business of sport.
Yeah,
Rich, you got to make
exactly.
sure you have that for.
It's the only
for
place you
popcorn.
go and get a cold hot dog, and you go back and buy another one the next week. It's the only restaurant you'll do that at. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Beer's
Thanks.
warm.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
There you go. That's Chris Stashnik joining us here in studio. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. Business of Sport on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
Turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring graders, excavators, forklifts, loaders, man lifts, skid steers, plus commercial trailers including 3 unused 2023 Timmins 55-ton triaxle lowboys. Info at maauctions.com.
Born from work, built for play. Carhartt's all-new Super Ducks tech jackets are built for hard-working people who can't sacrifice mobility for durability. This ultra-tough gear fights off wind, snow, and cold, while full-swing technology flexes with every move and still packs 3M insulation for maximum warmth. Try your new Carhartt Super Ducks at JobSite Workwear. 3 locations in Edmonton and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
ShopSite Workwear, tough different jobs.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth WE football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:49. We continue on. Jason Gregor, Rich Winter, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. We got a lot of texts on the. Hey guys, very interesting. I'm one who misses the rush. Realistically, what do you think the chances are of them coming? Honestly, I've said it basically since they left. I thought this was. I think Edmonton showed it was a good lacrosse town.
20 of his best friends. Get them together and get them to get 20 of their best friends, and you'll get a lacrosse team in town.
Yeah, the league would like to have ownership, right? They have the building.
Yeah.
You can. I know with the Oil Kings, and would it be busier? Sure, but I can tell you, there's lots of nights that they have nothing going on there, right? So you think now lacrosse is going to give you what 10 or 11 home dates, so it's it's not a massive amount, but it's still 10 or 11 more Saturdays or Friday nights is good for business, right? It gets a downtown core going more. You have more events going on, and I think realistically that I can tell you this for a fact that the league had proposed that Panther lacrosse team come here, and Edmonton at that time wasn't ready. They didn't feel they had their ducks in a row, but I think it kind of piqued their interest to say, oh, okay, so they're serious about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I think if there's a good showing on the 16th, and I think OAG has to be smart enough to understand, like you're not, there's not going to be a lot of people that are coming just because they cheer for they're coming because they're lacrosse fans. It's not like this is the team they're cheering
Right.
for.
If they get 8,000, it's probably
Yeah.
an indication there's 14 out there.
100%, right? So you have to, I think, consider that when you do it. And I know that I think there's a passionate enough lacrosse community here that knows how much not having a pro team, because you didn't know how important the pro team was till you got it.
Right.
And then when it came here and lacrosse really grew and expanded, and it's a great sport. Lots of good athletes got involved in it. And just because they all play at young levels doesn't mean they're all going to become professionals. It's not the
No,
point.
but
It's
and it's a good price point
Yeah.
for families and stuff. Yeah, it's a good sport.
and it's a good sport if you want a little bit more ruggedness, right? Speed, hand-eye coordination. There's lots of aspects of lacrosse that go into it. And hey, I'm a big believer. We see it more and more. The kids who play more sports, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
That can be much better. You don't have to buy in. Look at the Chicago Blackhawks pick, Rich, who just played his high school. He was the number one first round pick. And
Who was that?
What's his name? He just won his high school state championship.
No, it's so. I mean, I still remember like summer. The rites of summer started when you put I lived in a small town, so you put your glove on your handlebars and went to baseball practice. It just seems crazy that we're not doing that anymore. I honestly think it's if you look at the some of the other athletes that play other sports, it's better. Like you just get burnt out.
Yeah, Mason West, he was their third pick of the first round for the Blackhawks, right? Play from Medina and Minnesota. And you know what? He was like, hey, I really want to go back. He talked, and the organization wisely said, of course. Like, there's no guarantee this guy's going to be an NHL player. You hope he is, but there's no guarantee. And he's playing quarterback. There's lots of pressure. It's learning how to handle pressure in any sport is going to make you better athlete.
Yeah, and it's just like, how is his vision as a quarterback help his? I don't know what position he plays, but if he's a defenseman,
he's a center iceman.
Okay, he's a center iceman, but how's that vision affect his ability to see the ice and see other players on the ice and understand the flow of the game? They're not the same game, but those players are tracking similarly, on the ice as they would on the field to get a pass.
Yeah.
I don't know how it affects them, but it can't hurt them.
No, it would be very good. So I would hope to believe that this is something that's going to happen. For the OAG, for lacrosse
unless nobody
fans
shows up, and then
Edmonton.
that's an easy answer, right?
Yeah, but I'd be surprised if no one shows up. I saw the crowds, and they were like, the Rush were having 14,000, 15,000 at the end, right?
Yeah, they do. The others do a little promotion to their season ticket base and pick up 2,000 or 3,000 there, and they do the school thing.
Like $29.50 a ticket for a professional league that's not a bad price point at all. They're not gouging you at that point. You get in. That's all lower bowl seating, so should be good. So hopefully the lacrosse community shows up, and people who maybe even aren't lacrosse fans. If you've never seen an NLL game live, I would tell you to go watch. You'll be surprised at the speed and the skill of the game. It's a very fast game, and it's a very entertaining, at least from my vantage point. Looking at a few other things, Rich, in the business side of it, and we've talked lots about the NHL. We were talking earlier about going to Europe and everything. I want to get to when the business of the agent responsibility. When you have a player who's in a funk, do you reach out to the player, or do you wait the player to reach out to you?
Depends on the player. I mean, I think younger players, you reach out to them because I think a lot of times younger players, they think we're too busy with the more established players, right? So I was on a tour last week on, on some of the minor leagues teams in Bakersfield and Palm Springs. Those kids need your support. And it's surprising how many times I'll be on the phone and someone like, Zach will call, or Marian Hossa, or some higher profile athlete for Tyler Bertuzzi. And guys, I say, I'll just tell them I'll call them back. And the kids are really surprised. And when I get back on the phone with them, guys, you need our help. Guy making $6 or $8 million is not calling with much of a problem, most cases, right? So yeah, and it's always a tough one because it's sort of, I describe it oftentimes, your friend who's got cancer, right? How are you? When you haven't scored a goal in 15 games and you're struggling, you want to reach out, but you want to be judicial about it. So it's not a lot to talk about. Because I've always said, when hockey's going well, it's a really great adjunct to and to a life, because you never talk about it. You're having fun with your kids. But when hockey's going bad, you can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
And it's tough for them because, all they want to tell you, well, it's just really tough. You don't really need them to go through that again.
What about if a player hears his name in trade rumors? Do you ever put focus on that? Do you call the GM? How does it work?
I never listen to that garbage.
No.
I mean, unless it's, if it gets real, but no, I mean, it so often doesn't happen. And, I think most of my guys don't listen to, very few of them pay any attention to media.
Probably just closer to the trade deadline.
Yeah, maybe then. Yeah, you're starting to think, okay, yeah, geez, 25 guys moved yesterday and my name's out there. Are you hearing anything, Rich? And then, the odd time you get a call like that and you'll call Stan Bowman and no, it's not happening.
But
like all the trades that have been going on around the Edmonton Oilers for the last, if I respond to even 10% of them, I would never have got home for dinner.
Yeah. No, I guess I asked that when you call a GM, would he tell you honestly, yeah, I'm shopping your guy?
Depends on the GM, but yeah,
okay.
Generally, yeah, like, we've had, they would probably not, because it's never done until it's done. Like,
right. Yes. That's why I said shopping. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Because I've been in so many deals where I'm going like, we're never going to get this thing done. It got done the next morning. And then deals I thought they're done. And somehow they fell apart. So I think, they usually admit to, yeah, we've had some conversations. So we don't know where it's going. And sometimes they'll just tell you, it's honestly like, yeah, we've got to make a move and, with some interest and it'll happen. But yeah, it's an inexact science. Like you just can't even talking to them is a waste of time sometimes because they don't know.
Yeah.
Right. They could wake up and go, oh, geez, I thought I had a deal. And now they just traded Bob and for Tim and Caroline. I mean, like, I didn't even see that one coming. I thought we had a deal.
Right.
Right. So
yeah.
To me, it's like I get friends of mine calling. They want to have essentially sports talk or radio talk. I'm like, guys, like this is what you do all morning for real. Like,
yeah.
I was actually really talking to a GM who really told me that actually the trade's happening.
Yeah.
And I'll get so many of my buddies will call me and I'll say, and I'll just cut them off. Not happening. Because they've been listening. I think that's a great trade. That'd be great for Calgary. I go, it's not happening. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, people seem to, it's like the early stage of training camp. There's always 3 kids on every team are just wowing the inexperienced media guys, right? Some of them, right?
Yeah.
They're going, oh, yeah, I mean, this guy's going to play. And it's like, really? He's playing against a bunch of junior players in those first 2 games. Like, who really cares?
Yeah. What about when it comes to no trade clauses, no movement clauses? And I get why, hey, that's why the player, he's earned his right for it.
Yeah.
If a team says we want to trade you, is at that point, is it like, okay, well, yeah, the no movement clause is there just to help him have a say in where he's going?
Yeah, it's more that. I mean, I think there's been cases where guys have just said, no, I'm settled here. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere. But generally, guys want to be loved. They want to be wanted. They want to be somewhere, where there's a future for them. And so I think, and it depends how a GM handles it. Hey, Jason, you know how it's going here, and we really need a defenseman. We don't need 14 centermen.
Yeah,
you could see the writing on the wall. I can't believe all those kids in the draft panned out, and you just kind of accede to it, right? But then it doesn't completely give you control because like free agency, right? It's great when you got 7 teams, 8 teams, 10 teams calling Marian Hossa. Like that's great. It's a challenge, right? Because you got like, I don't know that one. Like I like the beach in Tampa because they don't have any reporters there. I'll be relaxing. I can live on the waterway. And geez, Chicago looks good. They could win. But then when you only have one team, amazing how quickly you can make justify why that's a great choice. And it's the same thing in, guy says, all we got is whatever. And you go, well, yeah, well, there's some, Rich, what about the coach? Like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that could be good. And then the next day they wake up and they think it seems it's okay, because usually they're not playing in the role that they want. They're not happy. It's back to the comment I made earlier, where when hockey's not going well, it dominates your entire life, right? Because everywhere you go, how's it going? And the minute you think, well, it really, in your head at least, they're going, it really sucks, but yeah, I'm okay. How are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's just ongoing. And so that grates on you. While you take it, like last year, for example, like Tyler Bertuzzi, just could hardly get up and go to games. It was just tough being there. This year, everything's
can't wait
changed.
to get to the rink.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Although Tyler would more likely complain about, I remember his biggest complaint last year in Detroit was the weather was way too warm.
Couldn't go hunting.
Screwed up the ice fishing.
Yeah.
Can't go ice fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's, but everybody's got their own proclivities, but it's, if you're not wanted, that's a divorce in the making, right?
Yeah. 100%. Rich, great stuff, buddy. You're looking sharp. We'll talk to you next week.
Yes, we will.
Let's get to Connor Halley in a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. They got tires at cost right now. Tires at cost. Great deals. Don't believe me? Check it out. NorthgateGM.com.
1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. It all gets going shortly, as you'll have the Preds in Detroit. Lightning host the Flames. Flyers taking on the Panthers. Blues travel to Jersey to take on the Devils. Islanders, Bruins, Penguins, and Sabres. The Jets are in Washington. Leafs travel to Columbus. Avs hosting the Sharks. Canadians taking on the Mammoth. Vancouver meet the Ducks. And it's the Golden Knights hosting the Ottawa Senators. In the association, the Toronto Raptors are in action. NBA Cup group play, taking on the Pacers in about 30 minutes time. Right now in the fourth, Celtics lead the Pistons 86-83. You'll also have the Bucks taking on the Heat. Warriors host the Rockets, Spurs in Portland, and the Kings taking on the Suns. Some big news for the Toronto Blue Jays, as per reports, pitcher Dylan Cease signing a 7-year, $210 million deal with the Jays. The 29-year-old right-hander spent the last 2 seasons with San Diego and threw a no-hitter back in 2024. In the AJ, Fort Mac hosting Lloyd. Drumheller takes on Devon and its Old up against Calgary. In the BCHL, Crusaders hosting Salmon Arm. That gets going just after 7 o'clock. And in the PWHL, we've got Vancouver in Ottawa getting going shortly. With a win this afternoon, Team Holman is heading to the best of 3 final, the 2025 Canadian Curling Trials. They'll take on the winner of the matchup between Team Black and Team Einerson. And on the men's side, Team Jacobs clinching top spot. They'll advance to the best of 3 final as well. In the NFL, 4-time Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow coming out of retirement and returning to the Detroit Lions. He announced his retirement this past June at the age of 29 and is now eligible to return to the lineup immediately. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Plus,
We
get up to
continue on.
25% off bedroom and
Wednesday
dining
afternoon,
furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're
Wednesday
entered for a chance
after.
to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
It's the Nissan Black Friday event, a full month of excitement packed with awesome vehicles and exclusive offers. Right now, finance the Nissan Kicks for 0% for 24 months. Plus, get $1,000 Nissan bonus and enjoy an epic ride wherever you go. This Black Friday, we've got great offers and limited inventory. Get yours today before they're all gone. These offers won't last. Go see your local Nissan dealer or Nissan.ca for more details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 1440.ca. The Gregor Show always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And our new Jason Gregor Show specials. The first one is already done because the Tampa game started. But if you want to get on the McKinnon Celebrini with an odds boost, check it out, PlayAlberta.ca, as you have the red hot Colorado Avalanche going up against the San Jose Sharks. Now, one little interesting tidbit of information for people when you look, because some people are like, oh my God, the season's over, the orders are done. No, they're not done. Do they have to play better? Yes, they need to play better. There's no doubt in my mind. You look, they haven't played a lot of games against the Pacific Division. In fact, only 4. And it's like right now, hey, the Ducks look good, but Seattle's not, they're not killing it. LA's not killing it by any stretch. Edmonton sure isn't killing it. Vegas isn't killing it. Like you're going to have a lot of games against your division foes here. The Oilers just got to figure it out. You got to, and I don't know how you figure out why you're mishandling pucks when no one's around you. Why you're losing, like you're making errant passes that go directly the other way for goals. That happened twice last night. Right? Mangiapane misses the pass to Draisaitl. They end up going up the ice. Now, it's a dump in that you can't lose that battle behind the net between Bouchard and Echo. There's no way. You just can't lose that battle. Like, I'm sorry. Not lose it as easy as it did. Boom, in the net. Right? You look at the Frederick pass. Mrs. McDavid not even close. They go back down the ice. Ends up battle loss at the blue line. Bastian walks in all alone, untouched, right into the low circle. Give most NHL players that much time and space, they'll hit their spot. They just will. And, Ekholm, Draisaitl, just literally mishandling pucks with no one around. It's wild. And that's not, last night wasn't the first night it's happened. It's not. And it's why we warn people on the show through the advice of our friend, the recovering alcoholic, when he said, don't tell me that Colorado and Edmonton's rock bottom. Because a lot of addicts will tell you they hit rock bottom numerous times until you finally make that decision that enough's enough. And that's where the Oilers are, because it was November 8th when they got spanked 9-1. And now it's November 25th and they got spanked 8-3. It's basically mirror games. Edmonton just scored a few more goals to make it look closer than it really was. 17 days, nothing's changed. The same mistakes, the same losing battles, bad defensive reads, average goaltending, Not enough offense. It's the exact same problem. It's just 17 days later in the season. So now, are they going to wait and be like, oh, it's December 13th, and they get spanked 7-2 and all? Because if that keeps happening, guess what? Well, their problems will just persist, and they'll never be moving up the standings. So it just comes down to when they decide as a group, each individual, enough's enough. And we'll see if they do it. Now, let's get to the Speckless Report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists in your communities. Not only do they help underground infrastructure, they do a ton. Obviously, we're a huge title sponsor for the Pizza Pig Out. So we thank them and more at GS Construction. As welcome in Tyler Yaremchuk to the show. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good as a Blue Jays fan. I got a little pep in my step right now after that news.
Dylan Cease, we had a few people texting me. I don't really know who Dylan Cease is, and I'm like, well, you might want to. This guy is pretty much a guaranteed 200 strikeout pitcher, right? He's got, I think it's the last 5 years, he's had at least 200 strikeouts, and then the guy gives you lots of innings. Being a pretty healthy pitcher, he's been a Cy Young finalist a few times in his career. I think second and fourth, if it's not mistaken. Like this is a big addition for the Jays. Essentially, his money, $30 million. Scherzer was making 15. I think Bassett was making 12, if I'm not mistaken. So he's kind of basically covered off both of them.
Yeah. And another thing too, like his ERA shot up last year, but I was digging into some of the metrics and reading a few people today. He had the 11th worst defense behind him out of any pitcher in Major League Baseball, like defensive performance. And they measure that with a whole bunch of things. But when you look at his fielding independent numbers, he's remarkably consistent every year. He's durable, he's consistent, and he's high velocity. He's like 88th percentile in velocity amongst starters. And the Jays didn't really have that up until Savage came up at the end, but now they got a fireballer who they can throw at the front of their rotation, and he's here for the next 7 years. So it's a great deal. And the thing I love too about baseball fans, you'll see people, oh, that's a lot of money. Who cares? Who cares if the Blue Jays are over the luxury tax? If they want to spend $210 million on Dylan Cease, it does not stop them from really doing anything else. I still think they can bring back Bo if they want to bring back Bo Bichette, for example.
Oh, 100%. I think they could. Do you think they will, though?
I think Kyle Tucker will be more expensive than Bo Bichette. Like that seems to be kind of the common thing going around on baseball Twitter. So I think spending $210 on a pitcher maybe takes you out of the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes. But I've always believed that the smartest thing for Bo Bichette to do is to probably lock in or not lock into a contract, but go with one of those deals with a bunch of opt-outs in it. Because listen, he'll probably get some offers in the $25 to $30 million range right now, or maybe $20 to $25 million range. But if he were to have a great season next year and the Jays go on another run and he stays healthy, I mean, maybe he opts out next winter and he gets more money than he could have this winter, right? So I wonder about a shorter term opt-out heavy deal with the Blue Jays. I think that makes sense for both sides.
Okay. The Edmonton Oilers last night, different opponent, different score, basically the same as the 9-1 loss. They were down 5-0 to Colorado. They're down 4-0 last night. Dallas had a goal called back, which was a clear high stick. But it was not a good start again for the Edmonton Oilers. It didn't get better as the game went along. Edmonton scored a few more goals than they did against Colorado, but that was really the only difference. And it's virtually the same issues that were there in November and have really been there all year long continued. You have unforced errors where guys aren't even being pressured. Guys who how Leon Draisaitl missed out on that puck makes no sense to me. Ekholm, same thing. Ekholm loses a battle, him and Bouchard, right behind the net, where that shouldn't happen, right? You got errant passes, losing battles all over. Like it's goaltending. Yeah, I didn't like Skinner on that on when he made the nice save and then put himself way out of position on the second goal. I didn't like it, but it's funny. Goaltending, I don't even think I would put in the top 4 problems. It's been a problem, but they got lots of other problems, and they got to maybe get a checklist and try to just start with one and say, okay, let's eliminate this problem. Okay, now then let's eliminate that. I don't see a quick fix coming here for this team.
No, and at the top of that checklist for me, I think a lot of fans would probably agree with me on this. How about getting some of those effort mistakes out of your game? Like I look at what happened on goals 3 and 4 yesterday, and goal 3, I mean, a dumb change when, again, Gregor, you probably teach the kids you coach in Pee-wee hockey that you don't change when you're on the back check. That is the wrong time to go for a line change. So it's a bad change. And then there's Leon Draisaitl, who's supposed to be one of your leaders, who's someone at the beginning of the season came out and said he wants to work his way into the Selke conversation one day. He has 2 feet on the center ice line, and he basically doesn't move. Connor McDavid is coming off an offensive zone chance on the other end, and he gets back into the zone quicker than Leon Draisaitl does on that goal. So that drove me nuts there. Again, it's effort-based, right? It's a lot of hoping, and Draisaitl stands still going, maybe Kulak can punch this through the 2 guys he's battling with, and then I might have a rush the other way. That's not how this team can be playing. And even the 4th goal, Connor McDavid comes into the zone, and is it a bad read? Is it not wanting to engage a guy physically? I don't know, but he doesn't take his man. It leaves Ekholm in no man's land trying to defend a guy. Like, everything is awkward. Everything is clunky. And a lot of these mistakes feel a little bit effort-based, and it starts at the top. Like, I can go on and on about Mangiapane and Frederick not really looking like they're 2 guys who are going to be able to help you come playoff time. But the fact that we can sit and point to 2 goals last night in the first period when the game was still relatively in reach, and it's like effort, execution, focus plays from Draisaitl and McDavid that end up costing them 2 goals. I think goaltending is a problem. I think a whole bunch of things are a problem, but I think a lot of fans would be less upset with this team if they weren't seeing these effort-based mistakes.
Well, yeah, effort-based, lack of energy-based. There's
Focus,
a variety of things, right? Like focus, it's many, many different things. So I look at the Oilers, and I don't know where, like, they have to look internally, right? Like, you can tell the frustration. You heard it on McDavid and Draisaitl last night. I don't even know if they know where to look. Maybe they need to go on a team bender or something. I don't know what it is. Go to an axe throwing competition, do something. But what they're doing hasn't worked. And I get that they're confident that they feel they can get out of it, but right now they're not doing the work to get out of it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? There were a couple of goals last night that, again, just effort-based, wanting to win a 50-50 battle. The other team seems to have that extra couple of percentage points in their game that seemed to be the difference. So I don't know. You look back on that road trip, frustrating that it feels like you're starting to maybe build up some momentum, especially, and we can loop goaltending into this part of the conversation. Calvin Pickard is excellent against Tampa Bay. He is the sole reason you were able to get a point in that hockey game. And Stuart Skinner, even though he gave up 3, he was tremendous against the Florida Panthers, and the team had so much fight in that game against Florida. And it's like, all right, the goalies are each coming off of good performances. The team was more engaged in that game on Saturday against Florida than I think they've been in any game so far this season. And you're thinking you're back on home ice. That should rejuvenate a team that has been traditionally dominant at Rogers Place over the last 3 years. They're 5th, I believe, in home points percentage in the last 3 regular seasons. All of that should have been a perfect storm for them to blow out the Dallas Stars. Add on the fact Rantanen's not there. Add on the fact that Thomas Harley's not in the lineup. Like, if any team was going to win that game 8-3 going into it, I would have put all my money on it being the Oilers winning that game 8-3. And the fact they came up that flat, it's inexcusable. And I get what Matthias Ekholm said before, where he was like, you have to, understand that we've played a lot of hockey. He used different verbiage, but he goes, you have to understand we've played a lot of hockey. And I get that we can use that as an excuse through training camp, through 10 games. We're 30% done the season. At what point are you going to stop sitting in the room if you're one of these leaders and just going, we've played a lot of hockey? Like, at some point, you need to figure it out and do some of these effort-based things a little bit different.
Yeah, well, I look at it, the orders. I think Kapanen and Nugent Hopkins are going to be very close to returning. And I look at the salary cap. You can make it work. You bring them both on, but you got to send Tomasic down because of the cap space. Now you could send someone else down who makes more, but he doesn't require waivers. So it's the simple move to make. But the bigger question is then Kapanen and Nugent Hopkins come in the lineup. Tomasic comes out. I'm not taking Clattenburg out of the lineup. No chance. Like he's played well. He scored a goal. He had more energy. I don't care about seniority or anything. You're the coach. You got to play the guys who are going to give you your energy. So it comes down to, and it's probably Mangiapane or Frederick. One of those two will come out of the lineup.
I'm 100% with you, and I get that Frederick was hurt last game. That's why his minutes were a little bit lower. Andrew Mangiapane played under 10 minutes. That's a message you can send to the locker room and say, hey, look, we have Connor Clattenburg, who was a middle six forward in junior, who played 15 games for Bakersfield, and he is outperforming the guy who we lined up to sign on July 1st. I think if you want to send a message, if you're Chris Knobloch, you are totally justified in doing that. And when the news broke that Clattenburg was coming up, I kind of chuckled. I was like, all right, they know they need some energy, but You know, he's been a fighter in Bakersfield. He only has the 2 points. I talked with Ryan Holt, I think last Wednesday, and he kind of said, like, on the list of guys who are ready to come up to the NHL in terms of their games, he said Clattenburg is a few rungs down from the Jarventis and the Quinn Hudsons on that team. So I kind of looked at it like, okay, the team's doing something a little bit cheeky here to try get some energy. But the way he played against Dallas, there is no shot you can sit there if you're this coaching staff and say you are serious about icing the best roster with the 12 best forwards and have it not include Connor Clattenburg for that game on Saturday, which is an insane thing to say considering who Connor Clattenburg is. Like, the fact he's coming in and eating some of these veterans' lunch, it's wild.
It just shows you, man, if you play with, well, right now on a team that's lacking, he's bringing something that stands out. And I know I'll say other guys might look more skilled, but Clattenburg wills you to get in the game every time. That's what he's doing. And, oh, by the way, he has now played, if I count his preseason games, I think he has 3 goals in 5 games in the NHL this year. So guess what? He figures out how to score. And no one's even expecting him to score, but he figures out how to do it. So I give him a boatload of credit. I give him a ton of credit. He was physical. He's not changed just because he got his goal. It wasn't like he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be a goal scorer. No, he was running around. He was doing everything that you wanted him to do. He just happened to produce a goal. And hey, nice set of hands. Picks the rebound backhand, goes to the forehand. But man, he is. A lot of other guys could grab a clue from how he is playing right now and just say, hey, just work hard.
Yeah, totally. Liam and I always love to joke that in Edmonton, it's the easiest market in the world to become a fan favorite. Because if you go and hit hard and go to the net and have a big grin on your face, this fan base is going to absolutely love you. The other thing I liked about that goal, there were 3 blue sweaters parked real close to the blue paint, and a good thing happened. And I've been harping on this for a while. I don't think they create nearly enough traffic and chaos in front of the net, and it's Liam's project for our show tomorrow. He's going through every goal on Instat, and he's going to see how many goals the Oilers have scored this year with at least 3 bodies within a 4-foot radius of the blue paint. I bet you it is not very many.
It's the easiest bet of my life. What odds you give me on that one? It would be
take the under.
It'd be the under. Tough start for the Flames tonight as Wolf just got pulled. They are losing 3-0 in Tampa Bay, and it looks like the Lightning scored 3 goals on 5 shots. So it's hey, that's probably what the Flames want, but in the big picture, but they're going to have nights like that for sure. Looking at trade opportunities. Hey, it's a hot topic. It's a fun thing to do. If you look at it, I like to look at ones that are more realistic. And I know a lot of people like Binnington, his name came out there, Jordan Binnington. I'm like, okay, it's making $6 million. Right now, there's only one goalie in the league who has a worse expected goal save above expected than Binnington. Now, and that's not save percentage. That's not, him getting, fleeced by great chances. They base that off of how many goals should a guy, these are saves that the average goalie would make. And he's minus 10. He's 74th out of 75th. He makes $6 million. So to me, he's a $6 million question mark. Well, Stuart Skinner's a $2.6 million question mark. If you want to trade him straight up and St. Louis eats half of Binnington's salary, I could see that trade. Now, I don't see why St. Louis would do that, but I could see it. But I don't know if I'm trading, I wouldn't trade Binnington for Skinner and just absorb the $3.4 million because now I got to make other moves to weaken the rest of my line.
Yeah, the one name, I'm sure you saw it, Kevin Weeks throw out the Tristan Jarry thing a couple of hours ago, and Friedman in his most recent 32 Thoughts had a line about, one, Stuart Skinner potentially not finishing the year in Edmonton, and then he had another line about how Pittsburgh is open for business when it comes to goaltending. He's got term, and that scares the living daylights out of me. But if you're Pittsburgh and you have Shelovs and you're liking what you're seeing in Adam Murashov and Blomqvist is there, he played games for him last year. I mean, I'm not saying I would do this, but Tristan Jarry at 50% retained is basically the same cap hit as Stuart Skinner. If they're looking to do something that they don't view as a true upgrade and just want to do a lateral move for the sake of seeing if anyone with a change of scenery can benefit from being in Edmonton, Tristan Jarry fits that description. And again, 50% retained. It would make sense for Pittsburgh to do it because it's way better than them buying him out in the summer.
Yeah. Now, Jarry was just activated today. He hasn't played a game since getting injured on November 3rd. So, prior to that, he had played well. He made 7 appearances this year, and you know what, was solid for the Penguins. So a much better, start to his season than what he had last year. I think he was 5-2, and he had a save percentage He was above 920, I think, in 4 of his 7 starts. So, it looks good. If you retain half, then yeah, that's one that I could see, and if Skinner's going the other way, it's funny enough, an Oil King for an Edmontonian, funny enough. So we'll see. There's options out there. I still think if I'm Edmonton, if you think Skinner's a question mark, I think it's valid to state that at this point. It's totally valid. But if you get rid of Skinner for another question mark, I'm not sure you're improving your team. You'd be better off to bring in another question mark to challenge Skinner. Would you not?
I agree with you 100%. And there's another name that I kind of kicked around today that's intriguing to me, although he is a big time question mark. But there was a report yesterday, a really good story by Ben Pope in the Chicago Sun-Times about what's been going on behind the scenes with Laurent Brossoit and his knee injury and everything that went into it. He had so many injuries. He hasn't played hockey in like 18 months, but they found something and they eventually figured out the issue. It wasn't like a cyst, but it was something in his hip that was grinding down the cartilage in his hip. And they finally figured that out and were able to address it in one surgery. And they think that's what was giving him knee problems and all these other issues. So it's fixed. And Ben Pope says he's maybe ready to be playing games in the American League in the next couple of weeks here. And Chicago is pretty set between the pipes. They have Spencer Knight and they have Arvid Soderblom. So what Ben Pope ends his piece by saying is it's difficult to predict, but after a stint, maybe it's a trade for Laurent Brossoit. He's $3.3 million this year. Hasn't played hockey in a year and a half, but last time he did play hockey, he was really good. He had save percentages in the 920 range in back-to-back years. Not a guy who I think you can trust to play 55 games for you in a season or anything like that. But if you're Edmonton and you try the Ingram thing maybe some point in December and that doesn't work, maybe you get to the end of December and it's like, hey, it would make a ton of sense for Chicago to keep 50% of that deal because it's better for them financially and cap-wise than burying him in the minors. $1.75 million for Laurent Brossoit, maybe a bullet worth shooting.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Stan Bowman, this is why you're paid to be a GM. The next few weeks will be something to see. Now, you read the pulse of your team. And, I know Frank had that report about all the, the players. I don't know if it was so much that they said, don't send Pickard down. It was more so my understanding is they kind of went to bat, say, hey, it's not his fault. Solely, the team hasn't played very well. Because Pickard himself said before the Tampa game, I got to play better. Right? He basically said, I needed a good game. He knew what was at stake. And, his style is very unique. He kind of is what he is. I think it's probably the easier upgrade to make, or at least attempt to make, and see if your defensive zone play can improve, then, maybe the rest of your goaltending numbers will get better. I still think there's areas of Skinner's game, no question, that have to improve, and maybe they'll never improve here. I don't know. You know what? I talk to Woodley often enough to know that I think there's some concerns in mobility for sure. That's a fair statement. And Woodley's also said he's seen some changes that they've made in his game that he thinks will work. They don't work right away. Like, it takes a while to get comfortable in implementing them. I just don't know if they have the patience to see those come to fruition in Edmonton.
Yeah, and again, if this is the end of the line at some point this season for Stuart Skinner, I think it's fair if you're an Oilers fan to feel a little bit sad about that. This is a homegrown guy who showed so much promise early on, but goaltending is so mental. And I talked to Dubnyk today and he kind of said you just eventually get to a point where if you're a goalie, you feel like you're stuck in the mud a little bit. And Doobie obviously got to that point here in Edmonton. And he's like, if you don't feel like you're supported by the organization, whatever level that is, and I'm not saying this is the case for Skinner. This was Dubnyk talking about his experience, but he's like, it's really, really hard to not let bad things snowball when you feel like there's people in the organization kind of being like, can't wait to get this guy out of here. So again, I feel for Stuart Skinner right now. I'm hoping that with a little bit of time, he can find some form here, but I just wonder how much time this organization is going to give him.
Ty, great stuff, buddy. We will chat with you next week. Have a good one.
Sounds good. See you, Greggs. There
you go. That's Tyler Yaremchuk filling in the Speckless report. He's celebrating his 60th. What a fossil. He needed a week away, but he will be back. Actually went on a little trip for his 60th, but Speck will be back next week. Take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Chief Principe and Jason Stredler. Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise, July 2026. Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Book now and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours/Edmonton.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Hey, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get well, I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It's week 3 of Canadian Tire's early Black Friday sale. These prices won't go lower this year. Maybe too low. Amazing.
Save up to 50% November 20th to 27th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tridem, tandem, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, plows, vacs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey, you know winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead-acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.533. Welcome back, Gregor Halley. Declan Kruger with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Also, if you missed it, the Toronto Blue Jays, big game hunting in the free agent market as they get starting pitcher Dylan Cease for 7 years at $30 million per season. Of course, Cease will come over from San Diego. Cons, of course, huge fan of his. He's now he was in the American League prior with the White Sox, and then he spent the last 2 seasons with San Diego. He, if you look at this guy, his last 5 years, he's had 200 plus strikeouts every time. He games started 33, 32, 33, 32, 33, 32. Pretty consistent, Cons. The guy will start you 32 to 33 games, and he'll strike out 200 batters for you. That's what you're going to bring. You know what? He doesn't have an overly high. His ERA jumped up a little bit last year, as Tyler Yaremchuk mentioned. Maybe the worst team defense behind him. Well, the Jays got good team defense. So to me, it's going to be kind of fascinating to see what he does. But there's lots of reasons to like him for the Jays.
Yeah, I mean, and I like what you said there, especially with what Ty said about the team defense behind them. The Jays littered with Gold Glovers. They, won the Gold Glove Team Award last year, so we know how good they can be. To add it to the rotation, and I think it's just an encouraging sign from ownership and management that they're going out there and they're spending money. Last year was great, but hey, could an arm like Dylan Cease have helped them? Of course it could have. So go out there, bring him in, and you get a guy who's familiar with the Dodgers as a big rival with the Padres. So I like this move, Gregor. It's really encouraging to see. We'll see, what else they do and what else they look to improve. But to bring him in, a guy who had a no-hitter back in 2024 as well, pretty encouraging.
Well, a lot of people wonder, what does this mean for Bichette? Well, supposedly a lot of the money is, not lots, but there's some deferred money, which should help the Jays get some other players for now. But do they have enough? What does Bo Bichette want to do? It'll be interesting. I don't think the Jays ever felt like it was one or the other. I think they believed that they were gonna be big players in the free agent market this year, and we'll see. But you look at their starting pitching now. You've got Cease, Savage, Gosman. Who am I missing? Shane Bieber. So those are their 4 starters right now, and that's a pretty good starting 4 for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's a really good starting 4. So.
Did you mention Barrios as well?
No, I did not. So I guess right now
he's healthy.
He's their number 5. So if he could get back to pitching how he was, if he's their number 5, could be a good number 5, 4, sure. And they got some other options for sure. So yeah, interesting offseason. I still wonder, is Barrios going to stay in Toronto? My understanding was he was really frustrated with how he won. Or was used last year. So I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. Let's talk a little bit more orders. We're going to hear from the captain, Connor McDavid. And because I believe that when you listen to McDavid here last night, so he first of all was asked about, it looked like they had shown some positive steps in the right direction in Tampa Bay and Florida, and then completely threw that to the ditch. How concerning is that?
Oh, not good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have many answers for you here tonight. I don't know. I don't have any answers, as I said.
What about the defensive struggles? How concerning is it that it's now 25 games and there's not been an improvement?
I think it stems from the whole thing. We're not good enough with the puck. And, it's leading to sustained, time in our D zone. It's the whole thing, we're not getting up the ice, not forechecking pucks back, and we're playing too much in the D zone. There's not many D zone systems that hold up after, 30, 40 a minute in your D zone. It's tough to defend.
It might have been the quietest I've heard McDavid. After, he'll be frustrated and he'll be angry, but man, that was one of those quiet, a frustrated calm right now. And then he was asked about the the goaltending and a lot of the criticism that's being heaped on the goalies.
I really feel like goaltending is a team thing. Tough for goalies to look good when the group in front of them is not playing well. I don't really care who it is. When the team in front of them is not playing up to their standards, then tough for a goalie to look good. Felt bad for both of them tonight.
So there you go. A subdued captain for the Edmonton Oilers. And there's a captain, I think, who clearly knows that it's more than just the goalie. Now, you can change the goalie, and I'm fine. I've said, now, I'll sit here and I'll pat myself in the back when I told people, and they say, Gregor, you're an idiot. You're a moron. You know nothing, blah, blah. How many times I hear that? Because I said John Gibson would be a terrible acquisition last year. Oh, lo and behold. Have you guys checked out his numbers in Detroit yet? Terrible. Okay? You think the Oilers' numbers are bad? Yeah. Well, go look at Detroit. And the difference is John Gibson, he's got an .870 save percentage and a 3.46 goals against average. .870, right? It's lower than Skinner's, right? Goals against average is way higher. And Cam Talbot's almost .30 save percentage higher than Gibson, behind the exact same team. Exact same team. And it's not like he's starting way tougher games. John Gibson felt like his best. You were thinking John Gibson 2017, 18, 19, sure. But that's not the John Gibson you want now. So I know there's a lot of people, yeah, but Binnington's won a cup. Okay, in 2017. And Binnington won 4 nations. 4 games, yes. Has he shown an ability to rise in the big games? 1,000%. So if you want to acquire Jordan Binnington, okay, I have no problem with that. I'd actually, Jordan Binnington over John Gibson, I would take it. But keep in mind, there are risks. Jordan Binnington right now, goal saved above expected, which takes out the defensive environment. It's just talking about the goalie and the shots and what he's expected to save as an average goalie. He's -10. 75 goalies in the NHL under that category. He's 74th. Okay, hasn't been good. So you could go out and acquire him, but he makes $6 million a year. So how are you fitting that in your salary cap? Are you going to take a question mark at $6 million over a question mark at 2.6? Where's the other 3.4 million? Now you got to get that out of your lineup. And you can't just pick the worst player and say, yeah, we'll just send this guy away. It's never that easy. So I think if the Oilers could get Binnington and St. Louis retains half and you have him and Skinner as your tandem, I'd actually think that would be the best one. Because now you got guys pushing each other. And if you think because both have shown people when they say, well, you know what, he's won and he's played well in big games. Yeah. So was Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner was fine in 2024, except the 2 games in Vancouver. Last year, he was unreal against Dallas and Vegas. Are those not big games? Those are big games. He played great. Has he had some bad games? Yes. So has Binnington. So if you had both of them and the Blues retain, I'd be all for that. But if you take Binnington for Skinner, I'm not sold that you're upgrading as much as people think, like it's a clear slam dunk. It could work, but it's not a clear slam dunk. That's all. And that's where I come out of it. I never thought Gibson was even an upgrade. But now Tristan Jarry, it's an interesting one. This is set. He had a really tough year last year, which happens for a lot of goalies. Because if right now it's Skinner out and one of these guys in, I'm just not sold. Like, it's a different goalie, but is it a way better goalie? And does it solve your goalie inconsistency problems? Because it sure won't solve your defensive structure. I don't buy this. Last year, all we heard was, well, the Oilers, they love Calvin Pickard. They play way better in front of him. Okay. So did they fall out of love with him in the offseason? Because Calvin Pickard has like one of the worst expected save percentages in the NHL, meaning the environment he's in is right now second worst in the NHL. So if your thought was that they love him so much that they play great in front of him, well, what's happened? I never really believed that, right? They were playing well, sure. But that's not because they love one guy more than the other. I just don't think professional athletes function that way, right? There are certain guys and teams that players don't like, But when the game's on, the players want to win. That's being a good teammate. You can dislike a guy off of the ice, but on the ice, you're a team. Your job is to do your job to the best of your ability. Not because, well, Bob's playing tonight and not Steve. Now I'm going to try harder. Right? I don't think that works. So a lot of the suggestions to me are you're moving one question mark out for another question mark in. And well, yeah, but it's a different question mark. Okay. But as a GM, is that my thought process? It's another question mark? No, I'd rather say, okay, well, is it an upgrade over my second question mark? Because now, then that to me makes sense. But if it's like, okay, I'm getting rid of my best question mark, bringing in another question mark, but I still have my second, I'm not sure I'm better off in that situation. So, hey, Gregor, David talks about not getting the pucks up ice. He's probably looking in the mirror. He gets to the blue line, then trying to deke around three guys and cop stuff newer times. Hammer. Well, don't you think he was talking about himself, Hammer? He said, we're not managing the puck. That's himself included. I don't think there's any debate on that. Right? Like I mentioned Leon Draisaitl's defensive zone turnovers, which is wild, the rate he's at right now. Double what he's been the last few years. Well, actually on pace for almost triple. It's crazy. So I think it's everybody. I think McDavid's frustrated. He knows he has to play better. Draisaitl knows he has to play better. And if there was two guys that I'd be confident that would play better, it's those two. So that, to me, that in a weird way, that's kind of a positive. That their best guys can play better. But there's lots of other guys. I'm like, how much better can some of these other guys play? That's a concern. So we'll see if they fix it. We'll come back with Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off, and with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theater on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Get your power play amped up with EUL, supplying the city of champions in Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. UL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:48. Welcome back. You know what? I just looked up something for the first time. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. That Canada's Olympic men's hockey schedule. First game is the 12th of February. 8:40 in the morning, Edmonton time. They take on Czechia. Then the next day, Friday, they take on Swiss. That's a 1:10 Edmonton time. And then Sunday at 8:40 a.m., they will take on France. There are, of course, 3 divisions and 4 teams in each division. So Canada, France, the Swiss, and Czechia. Meanwhile, you have Sweden, Finland, Italy, and Slovakia in one. And then you have Leon Draisaitl in Germany with Latvia, Denmark, and Team USA. So there you go. And then they'll move on to the medal round after that. But Canada should be comfortably getting to the medal round when you're in a division with France, Czechia, and Switzerland. Let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. The rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy. At legacyheating.ca, here's Cam Tate.
Sometimes, and not often, you enter a room and the very air rises up, seizes you by the lapels, and declares without hesitation that something has gone profoundly sideways. No hints, no nudges, just truth slapped against the wallpaper. That was the Edmonton Oilers dressing room last night. An 8-3 dismantling by the Dallas Stars didn't simply hang in the atmosphere. It loomed like a dark Atlantic squall muscled through an open door. It had shape, posture, settling in the corners like a stern schoolmaster awaiting confessions. Connor McDavid stepped forward not as a conquering hero, but as a man conceding the obvious. "I don't have many answers for you tonight," he said. Not a soundbite, but a small white flag. Moments before Leon Draisaitl joined him, their reluctant duet echoing the same grim truth the scoreboard had shouted. In the Hockey Hall of Fame room, head coach Chris Knobloch delivered a verdict so spare it could have been chiseled into stone. Flat is the way the coach described it. And the evidence? Plain as prairie light. Already trailing 1-0 after the first 3.5 minutes, the Oilers surrender then 3 more in the opening period, offering all the resistance of an unlatched garden gate in a gale. But the night carried a weight far heavier than goals. This was Hockey Fights Cancer Night, a night stitched with courage and memory. Oilers fans honored anthem singer Robert Clark, absent because of his own cancer treatment, with a resounding version of booming O Canada. The supply, the image of little young Ben Stelter, that beacon-like bravery, taken at such a young age. The tribute to Monique Hamlin and her grieving husband Chris, working the game as part of the Oilers' equipment crew. All reminders of battles infinitely larger than any defensive lapse. Faced with real courage, the Oilers evaporated, leaving only the outline of a team utterly unwilling to exist. Gregor, Halley, Kruger, me, Tater. Weekdays. Sports. 1440.
Yeah, it was, that was fantastic. Beginning on a tough night. And we wish Robert and all those battling cancer across the city and surrounding areas all the best for them and their family, because it can be an emotional roller coaster for sure. Kind of puts it in perspective sometimes. Yeah, it's a hockey game and you're frustrated and lost, but just like, yeah, man, I have my health right now and kids are healthy, hopefully, and spouse, everybody makes it a little bit easier for sure. So good work, Tater. Good work. Tomorrow on the program, we'll be talking a lot of hockey, talk a lot of football. And we didn't get to him, but man, I can tell you that we have lots of texts that we'll be getting to again on the show tomorrow from today. So A few of them. Hey guys, if the Oilers want to make a change in net, I'd look at Buffalo. Luukkonen, he can play well. Forget the pass of the old goalie. You're bang on with Gibson. They need aggressive play instead of being passive. Played a little bit more involved in Tampa and Florida, and still a little bit of stick checking too much. But these players are not good. They've graded style and effort for me from Garrett. Yeah, UPL in Buffalo. Now he does make $2 million more than Skinner right now. But that's fine if like his future, he's a guy. Now, if I'm Buffalo, would I want to trade him right now? I probably wouldn't. I would look because they got Lyon. Lyon, I think, is kind of like a placeholder for them. But you never know. Teams have traded young goalies before where they're just like, oh, it's not working. And they do have Devin Levi. So, you know what? Maybe it's one or the other. Maybe it's Devin Levi you look at. Could you get him out of Buffalo for something? That's because do they need Levi and Luukkonen? Trust me, teams rarely keep both young goalies. I might be the guy to look for. We'll see. We'll discuss that and more on the Gregor Show tomorrow. Have yourselves a lovely Wednesday. Please turn your lights on. Get home safe. Here's the con man. And a Sports 1440 update brought to you by eWell, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, ewel.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. After 20 minutes, Preds up on the Red Wings 1-0. Flames show the Lightning 4-0. The Panthers have a 1-0 lead over the Flyers. Blues up on the Devils 2-1. Bruins and Oilers tied at 1 apiece. Just about to get going in the second period. The Penguins lead the Sabres 1-0. Caps have a 2-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets, and the Hurricanes at home trail the Rangers. Jackets leave scoreless after 20. Later tonight, Blackhawks host the Wild, Sharks in Colorado. Mammoth up against the Canadiens. The Sens in Sin City. Ducks host the Canucks, and the Stars take on the Kraken in the Association. Toronto Raptors in action. Early, they lead the Pacers 13-12. 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Elsewhere, Knicks up on the Hornets 56-42. Later tonight, the Trailblazers take on the Spurs. Rockets head to the Bay to meet the Warriors, and it's the Pelicans and Grizz. Earlier today, Celtics get past the Pistons 117-114. PWHL tonight after 20 minutes. Ottawa leading Vancouver 1-0. Brian Jenner with the lone goal in that one. In the AJ tonight, Port Mac hosting Lloyd, Drumheller in Devon, and Old Stakes on Calgary. ECHL, you got the Crusaders hosting Salmon Arm. That'll start after 7 o'clock. For the curling world, with the win this afternoon, Team Holman heading to the best-of-3 final in the 2025 Canadian Curling Trials. They'll take on the winner of the matchup between Team Black and Team Anderson. And on the men's side,